A new episode of Real Ranked is going live right now. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Real Ranked. Today we will be talking about Christopher Nolan's filmography. We will be putting them on a tier list. So I'm just going to bring in who we have today, Jacob, for your first
Hey
time on the
guys.
show.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited.
Mhm.
Really excited. Christopher Nolan's one of my favorite directors, so excited to discuss his work.
All right, great. Yeah, excited to have you. We got Sophie.
Hey guys. I'm excited. I'm the film, not a film bro for Nolan, but a film gal, if you will.
We got Kenny.
Hello. I'm happy to be here.
And Sarah.
Hello, I'm excited to be here. As probably everybody that will ever watch this knows, Nolan's my favorite director. So,
Wait,
finally-
actually?
Wait, what?
I know you're joking.
I'm shocked.
Oh wow,
right now.
Sarah. Sarah, I thought. Oh wow. I didn't know
Crazy.
that.
Okay.
This is brand new information.
I thought Ben Affleck was your favorite director.
Shut the
but-
fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We're not even gonna
It starts
talk about
now.
that. We're not even joking about that.
It starts now.
We have Sam in the live chat saying she can't watch it live, but wanted to say
I love you,
I love you, Sam.
Wow, okay. Okay, wow. Okay. Sheesh.
The love is strong.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna bring up the tier list today. So we can start off with following, which I can start us off because I just watched this today, or I guess before I went to sleep, and this is a really great debut. I think it has exactly what you expect out of a Nolan movie with like time and how he structures the plot in a non-linear format, and it's a very low budget. It's like it's his first time filming a movie, and I think it just works really well, and it's really interesting how the story just like moves along with the characters. So I don't want to say too much for people who haven't seen the movie, but Jacob.
Yeah, so like you were saying before with like low budget. I really think that's what makes this film sort of like kind of like unique in his filmography, is that it's so low budget compared to his like blockbuster movies that he does later on, that it just feels so different, but then at the same time it also has a lot of his same elements that you can like kind of just get the sense that it's a Nolan film. It's a super tight story. I love the runtime. That's one of my favorite parts about the film. It's a
Mhm.
super short one, but yeah, I won't get into like spoilers, but I will say the twist at the end I didn't see coming. I think I don't know, I had some problems with it. It didn't really like, after finding out about like the twist, I wasn't that intrigued with what happened. Yeah, a lot of it I just kind of like forgot about. I watched it over Christmas break, so like it was like 2 months ago ish. And I forget a lot of what happened. I just find it yeah, kind of like a forgettable film compared to his like other movies. And then I also want to bring up the point about like the time periods, because Nolan has done later on he does other work with like his like different like time periods throughout the movie. In this movie the time periods didn't really like work for me that much compared to like The Prestige or Memento. So I think that sort of like also like kind of drags it down for me. Overall, though, I really thought it was an interesting like start to his career. And I think it just sort of just set up the way he did his stories later on in his filmography. So yeah.
Mhm.
I
Alright.
haven't seen this movie. It's the only one I haven't seen, and I didn't realize it was only like an hour long. So I
So
should have.
short.
You could
I
have just
know.
watched both. Yeah.
I didn't have time. I went to get dim sum instead, and I watched the
Solid
Purdue
choice.
game. The Purdue played it at noon. So.
You would have been better off watching Following.
Probably, yeah. I'm super disappointed in that game, but whatever. All right, Kenny, you can talk about the.
Yeah, with Sophie, I've also not seen this one. It's the only one I
Let
haven't
go.
seen.
The only one I haven't seen either.
I just haven't took the time to watch it, sit down and watch it. But I will at some point, I guess.
Well, I have seen this one. Granted, it's been like almost a year, and I don't remember a lot of the specifics, but like kind of like what the others already said, it's a really solid debut. I know a lot of people consider it to be their least favorite Nolan, but I don't think it's the weakest one. Just because it does have a lot of elements of his other movies where there's like the nonlinear like storytelling, and you just see a lot of like very Nolan type details that you see grow really well in his later movies. And I need to rewatch it just because it's been a while and I love Nolan, so I always need an excuse to watch one of his movies. Plus, I need to reiterate the fact that this movie is short. Short movies are good. Long movies take effort to watch. This takes about as much effort as like 2 episodes of a sitcom, so I like that.
that's true.
Maybe
Yeah.
3.
So where do you guys want to rank this?
I don't know. I
D
was
tier.
thinking.
You haven't
would
seen it, Kenny.
So are we just doing like the movies as
I think
compared to
for
other movies? Or
me,
just, like,
I'm gonna give this a C tier just because I still I think it's a great movie, but because Nolan's filmography is so amazing that like this is one of his weaker films, but like by all means, like this is not a bad movie at all. It's just I think it's one of the it's just lower on my Nolan ranking. So.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna give it a C tier as well. It's definitely like even though it has its flaws, just with how good Nolan is, it's still a great movie to watch with a great runtime. So yeah, I would say C.
I'm also going to say C tier just because I feel like I can't put everything in the B tier and higher. So, yeah.
Very likely that this is the only C tier we have. We'll see. I don't think we'll have any D tiers. Unless.
Yeah, I'm not putting anything on the D tier. That's just a crime.
But, all right, let's move on to Memento. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm not gonna say anything. Let's just start with Jacob.
So Memento is definitely one of my favorite Christopher Nolan films. I have just like every time I watch it, I just love it more and more. I think the gimmick.
We can't hear you.
Your audio's gone, Jacob.
I think your mic got disconnected.
Keep talking, Jacob. It's fine.
Hello.
Oh,
There
Okay,
we
now
go.
we can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I was saying that. Hello.
We
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay. So I was saying that Memento is like one of my favorite like films of all time. It's like one of my favorite Christopher Nolan films. I think every time I watch it, I just enjoy the movie more and more. And the whole gimmick with like how time works and how we get certain pieces, and then every time it shows a new piece, it's sort of just like the previous time. It's not gonna lie, it is a confusing film, but I find that watching like an analysis on like YouTube helped. Or Christopher Nolan also does like a breakdown too. That's nice. And then you can find like cuts of the movie in like chronological order, and I found that helped a lot with sort of just getting a whole sense of the story overall. Um uh it's like a great character study over like a guy who like feels like he's in control the whole entire time, but by the end you realize that he actually is not in as much control as you thought. And I think it's interesting to see how like the revenge um plays in factor when I guess I won't spoil the end of the movie, but like when you see the end and you see how like the revenge is actually something much different than what you originally thought at the beginning of the movie. And I think that just sort of just helps show that like even though we see Leonard as the good character throughout the film, he also has some like dark like intentions compared with the rest of the cast, which I think the rest of the cast does a great job. Like uh Carrie-Anne Moss, she's like really good. As well as Teddy, I forget what the actor's name is.
Joey
Um,
Pants.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
in Percy Jackson, I think. He's
Is he actually?
I remember
the guy.
anything about those movies.
Yeah, he's
Well,
he's
they're
the
they're both
stepdad.
in The Matrix. Joey Pants and
Yeah, he's in the Matrix
Joey
too.
Cameron.
Yeah.
The Bad
Well,
Boys.
then I guess I should know who he is.
I don't remember his name, but I know
Joey
he's in that movie.
Well,
Pantoliano.
Pantoliano.
That,
Okay.
that doesn't help.
He's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but I think like as you're watching the movie, you kind of see like what those characters like kind of are, and like each time they show like different parts of the story, it's like you sort of kind of get a different view of the people around him. Like sometimes you see them as bad, then sometimes you see they might be trying to help Leonard out. So yeah, I just think the time gimmick sort of just helps the movie in total. I see a lot of people talk about how like once you watch it once, it kind of like the time doesn't really like work for them after that. But for me, it always works. I always have a great time watching it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree with basically everything you said, Jacob. It's been a while since I've seen this. I think I watched it back in. Actually, I think I can see when I watched it. Let me check really fast when I watched this movie. 2017. Oh, it's been a while.
Jesus Christ.
I watched it with my dad, and we just put it on one night because we were like, "Oh, it's a Nolan movie. We haven't seen it. Let's watch it." And honestly, like my mind was blown by the end of it. I was like, "This is so well put together." I love the way it's filmed with I mean, it's no secret that it kind of just goes backwards, but also forwards. It's super cool. I love the way it's filmed. It felt like a puzzle, like an actual brain puzzle of sorts. And I do agree with what Jacob was saying of how after every little bit of the story reveals itself, you get to know the characters better, but you don't know if it's like for the good of the character or for the bad of the character. You still don't know, so you're like you're kind of just going along for the ride with the main character until you know what happens. And I really like that because you're just as confused as he is, and you're figuring stuff out as he goes along. And I really like that. It just puts it in perspective, and it kept me very engaged from what I remember. I've only seen it once. I feel like watching it again would be even like a very cool experience, knowing already what happens and then just following and picking up on small details. But I don't really have anything else to say except for the fact that this is definitely a strong Nolan film, and it's in the middle of the pack for me. But it's still an excellent film. Definitely a memorable memoir for Memento. I don't even know if that made sense, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm done.
Yeah, I haven't seen this in a bit. It's been, I think, 2 years, but I really enjoyed it, and like I knew a couple things from like videos or like I don't know if I should say like that phrase that is always said about this movie, but I still was super surprised with all the twists and like picking up on certain things as the movie goes along. and then the change from like black and white and color is neat. And it was just, I don't know. I enjoyed this movie, and I was just wowed. I think my jaw was to the floor at the end. So
this kind of like what Sophie said, like it's kind of middle of the pack for me, but it's still so good. I think one of the reasons I don't like it as much as some of his others is just because this is, in my opinion, Nolan's most confusing movie. Like the first time I watched it, hey,
I mean, Tenet exists, but okay.
Exactly
we'll
what I was
get
gonna
to that. We'll get to that.
say. We'll get to.
We'll get to it. I have reasons, but also, as we know, I don't make any sense. So
That's so true.
but with Memento, like the first time I watched it, which I think was actually last year, I watched a lot of his movies for the first time last year because I didn't watch movies until like 2 years ago. But
You finally started when I forced you.
Yes, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I remember the first time watching, I was very confused at the end. I still loved like the whole thing, but it took me a while to figure out, and I literally had to like go online and read some stuff and like watch some videos to be like, okay, this makes sense, good movie. And then I rewatched it a couple of weeks ago, and like I think it's a movie where a rewatch definitely helps, because once I went and read everything and saw it again, it's easier to keep track of everything going on, and it's not as confusing. So yeah, I really like it compared to some of his movies, but I don't know, I don't want to keep repeating myself. I have a lot to say about some of his other movies, as you could probably expect.
Okay. I've only seen this movie once. Yeah, in 2019. So, what do you guys?
We're off to a great start, guys.
we're not to the meat
at
yet. We're not to the meat of the filmography. We're just getting started.
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Nolan film, but I'm hosting, so. Where do you guys want to rank Memento?
I have it probably A tier.
Yeah, I'd put it solid A
I'd say
for
A.
sure.
Yeah,
That's where I have
definitely
it.
no less than A.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good with A.
A it is. We will move on then to Insomnia. Sophie, start us off.
Oh, I watched this a couple hours ago. I woke up and realized, okay, I have stuff to do today, but I also have 2 hours to spare. And I started the movie at 10 a.m., but I had plans at noon, and this movie was going to end at noon. And I was like, shit. So I texted my friends, hey, can we push getting lunch a little bit? I'm watching a movie. I was like, sure. Why not? So I finished the movie. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I wasn't really expecting much from this one, but I started watching it, and it's kind of like it's more one of his more slow burn movies, even though it kept me like gripped and engaged during the whole thing. I absolutely love Al Pacino and Robin Williams' performance. They're fantastic in this movie, and I just love how it just shows like the corruption of people in their lives and their work, and I think it's a great, it's also a really great descent into madness movie, and there's a lot of things to pick up. I feel like I've only seen it once, but I'm sure I missed a bunch of things when watching it. So I'm excited to rewatch it, but I honestly really liked it. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. It's definitely like the lower tier Nolan for me, but it's still a great film. I'm excited to rewatch it, and yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it besides the fact that it's a really good murder mystery, if you want to call it that. Good thriller, good performances. Music's okay. That's because he didn't have Zimmer. So, yeah, the music could have used a better boost of. Wow.
I don't know that would have.
No, I'm kidding. I was just joking. But no, really good. I liked it. It's a great movie.
I watched this also in 2020, like Memento, but I watched this on a car ride because I was going on a
Oh,
road
no.
trip on my phone.
Hey, I watched Tenet on an airplane.
Ah,
I mean, that's not that bad. I mean, I've
It is. It was on one of those
but
little tiny TVs.
David Lynch would be mad at me for watching a movie on my cell phone. But I think it was just bored. Maybe it was the setting. I might need to rewatch this again, but I just was like, about it. I was like, is this movie gonna end yet? I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy it as the other stuff. I mean, I thought the concept was cool, and some of the some of the cinematography is like the concept of just being in Alaska when it's like all just
Right.
day. And I think a couple movies go into either it's like all day or all night.
yeah, the proposal.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. There's that vampire movie too that's like all like where it's just all dark and they have to survive like 30 nights or whatever. But I don't know. I thought it was fine. I think it's probably my least favorite Nolan. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Kenny said. This is pretty solidly my least favorite Nolan, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Like the cast is absolutely stacked and everybody like does a really good job. It's just I think I would need to rewatch it to appreciate it more because like this and Following are the only two I haven't rewatched yet. Wait, no, I haven't rewatched Tenet either, but that doesn't matter.
That's more recent, though.
Yeah, I've seen that one more recently anyway.
I'll lend you my 4K. But actually, I'll grab those once we go over those movies. I have a couple of Christopher Nolan DVDs over there.
I have a solid collection here too, but yeah, Insomnia. I think I need to rewatch it to truly appreciate it. And maybe it'll go up on my ranking. I don't know, but like just because of how much I love his other movies, it's just this one. Just it's not a boring movie. It's just in comparison, it feels kind of boring.
Yeah.
I a lot of the Nolan movies I just haven't seen since 2019 or like before. So I remember really enjoying this one. It's a great movie. All right, Jacob.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this movie either. This was like one I also watched during Christmas break after watching Following. I do prefer this movie over Following. I think the acting performances are really awesome. Like Robin Williams and Al Pacino, they do a great job. I didn't get bored at all while watching the film. Unlike with Following, I was a little bored sometimes. But yeah, with this film, I just saw it as like a good crime thriller. And I like how we get to see both like Robin Williams' character and Al Pacino's character interact with each other earlier than like you would think for them to interact in the movie. Like especially like the boat scene when they're on like the ferry or whatever. I really enjoyed that scene a lot. And then yeah, it's just a good look at showing that like both both sides are not innocent, and yeah, it's just a good crime thriller that I don't think I'll be watching fairly soon again, but yeah, it's a good movie that kind of like showed how Christopher Nolan could work with a bigger budget, sort of like more than like Memento and Following. This is definitely like him just getting more into his groove, I would say. So yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part.
I was gonna add on to something you said. I realized that this is one of Nolan's more dialogue heavy films. There's a lot of just like talking, but the conversations were super engaging. Like I was like, oh, this is so gripping. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I really appreciate that from him because we don't get a lot of those. I mean, maybe Interstellar, but there's more action. I don't know. It's just this one's very dialogue heavy driven, and I really appreciate that. That was really cool. Because I'm not really into those type of films, but this one really gripped me. I was like, I need to know what happens. This is cool. And I was trying to figure out, trying to memorize everything and make sure I got every detail. I was like hoping for a twist in the end, and there wasn't really, but I thought it was a very satisfying ending. I really liked it. Sorry, I didn't mean to like continue talking, but I wanted to add on to what everyone else said. I'm done.
Okay. Well, then let's get on the ranking. Where do you want to rate this?
C
I'd
tier.
say
B
C tier?
or low? No, I'd say
Low
low
B,
A.
high
I'm
C.
thinking
No,
B.
it is not an
B.
A
I
movie.
think it's a
Low
B tier.
A,
I'm
It's
B.
not an A for a Nolan
low
movie.
B, high C.
B tier. Okay. That
B.
seems
Yeah,
to
I'm
be the
happy with
consensus.
B.
Mhm.
It's not C. I would not put that.
It's
Yeah,
my
definitely
least
not
favorite
C.
Nolan. If I put Following on C, I have to put Insomnia on C.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
that's a B.
But most of us went with B, so we're gonna put it there. So, moving on to Batman Begins. So we will start with Kenny.
This one's pretty cool. I'll show you my special edition. I brought him over, so this is it. And it comes with a Scarecrow with it says there's nothing to fear but fear himself. I think he's an FDR fan, because that's an FDR quote almost. And then you got a Ra's al Ghul, or is it no Raish? They say Raish in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
But this one's pretty cool. This is like Christopher Nolan finding his groove with action. So it's a little weird to watch because you have so many camera edits. If you watch that scene where he's in the docks or the dockyards where Falcone's at, there's so many cuts. And you just don't see what's happening. It's just whatever. But this is a cool introduction to this trilogy. Just great stuff. Great cinematography. Kind of sets how he does scale. Like when they're on that glacier or just I don't know. It's a pretty cool film. Pretty good origin story. Probably one of the best for a character. So,
I love this movie. I love this trilogy. This is my favorite movie trilogy of all time, for reasons. But this movie, I don't think I appreciate it as much as I can because, when I rewatched it pretty recently, I was like, this is way better than I remember when I was younger. Because I've been watching this trilogy pretty religiously since I was 11 years old. I've had this copy. It changes based on the movie, but I've had it since I was 11. This movie though, I think it's probably my least favorite of the trilogy, just because I don't like the villain as much. It's not as solidly it's not as solid as the Joker or Bane. But it still works and it's good. And Christian Bale is to me is the perfect Batman. I could go on and on about that, but I'll probably do that when we talk about the other two movies in the trilogy. But I don't know, I absolutely love this movie. Also Hans Zimmer music, so
and James Newton Howard. And James Newton Howard.
But I care about Hans Zimmer.
Don't get it twisted.
James helped as much as Hans did.
I know, but I like
James
Hans
did
Zimmer
66.67% of the trilogy. Think about that.
Hans Zimmer did the whole trilogy.
I guess.
You can totally tell. James Newton Howard had a big hand in Batman Begins because you can hear some of his style in some of the songs instead of Zimmer's. Zimmer,
I don't know his style very well, so I know Hans Zimmer though because
yeah. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say because I haven't seen this in over a decade.
Wow.
Okay.
Is there a Nolan scene within the last?
Matthew, you could have just had one of us host or something.
Hey, yeah, I'm just here as the host, and I'll mediate. I don't have a lot of input on these besides following because I watched that finally. This got me to finally finish Nolan's filmography. So, all right, Jacob.
Yay.
Okay, yeah, I rewatched Batman Begins. I hadn't seen it for a little bit, but I rewatched it last year. because I prefer Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises over this movie. But I like Sarah said, I really enjoyed it. The rewatch that I had, I don't know. I always forget about it when I think about like Batman movies. I always forget about it. I love like the training like montage like scenes at the beginning. It really shows like what it takes to be actually Batman. And I feel like it's something that previous Batman movies really like failed on. And I think that's just what's so unique about Christopher Nolan's like Batman trilogy. Is that it just shows like a different side of Batman. Um, I do wish more. I mean, um,
Jacob, you're cutting out.
feel like
Yeah.
I
those,
did
like,
not hear
those-
a word.
I don't like them nearly as much as the
Jacob.
Jacob,
Jacob.
Wait.
hello.
Hello?
You're cutting
Oh.
out a lot, dude.
Yeah,
Oh my
gosh, oh
anything
no.
you just said.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Oh crap. Okay. Wait, what parts did you hear? What parts did you hear?
You were about
You
to
like
say
the
like
montage.
Sarah, and then
Yeah, you
Training
said like you
montage,
agreed
that's
with
it.
me on something.
Basically.
but-
Okay,
and that-
yeah, like yeah, I enjoy the training montages a lot. Shows what it like really takes to become Batman. Which is something that the other movies, like before Christopher Nolan, did a kind of like bad job, like showing what it actually takes to become like Batman. I think that's what just is so unique about Christopher Nolan's trilogy. I do wish there was more detective work. And I guess just in like Christopher Nolan's like trilogy overall, I wish there was more detective work besides just him like interrogating criminals. Like Sarah said, I don't like the villains in this movie as much as the rest of the trilogy. I don't know what I don't know like what people prefer. I feel like more people prefer like Ra's al Ghul over like Scarecrow, but I'm more of a Scarecrow guy. I don't know. I
I
thought
agree.
was cool.
He is Cillian Murphy. I love him.
But I will say, darn Christopher Nolan scarred me as a child with when he gets like Scarecrow
Drugged?
gets like his own gas or whatever, and the Batman. Oh God, I was scared for my life watching that as a
Did you
kid.
see that clip recently that was all practical?
Really? Oh my
What?
Yeah,
God.
that was an actual suit.
I was so scared watching that as
Yeah.
a child. I think that shaped me into who I am today. But,
This is your Joker?
Oh yeah, but yeah, that totally just scared me so much. Anyway, moving on from that, I think it's a great look at like just overcoming fear. It's just a great look at like how fear affects people, and yeah, I definitely prefer his later movies over this one. But it's not a bad movie at all. Oh, and I will say the Batmobile introduction, really awesome. And it's just such a cool Batmobile compared to like the ones that we'd seen in the past, and it's just yeah, just Christopher Nolan's like spin on the Batman universe is just awesome in my opinion.
One comment really quick about the Batmobile. I have a Lego set of it back at home. I wish I had a picture of it, but I don't. Holy shit, the coolest one I've ever built. I spent a lot of time building Legos because Legos are cool, but oh my, it was so cool. Such a cool set. I love this trilogy.
How big is it? Is it like the one that's like pretty thick?
It's pretty decently big. I don't know how to gauge it. I don't know. Like the notebook, it's bigger than like the base of it. If you sat on top of it, it'd be like bigger than a notebook. So like that's the best I can do right now because I haven't seen it in like a year and a half because it's like not with me. But it's a really cool set.
Yeah, but the Batmobile is really cool. I enjoyed that a lot in that movie.
Does it
That's
come in
all I have to
black?
You mean the tumbler?
Oh,
Yeah,
the Tumbler.
Batmobile.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
still a Batmobile.
The
It's same,
Tumbler.
same thing.
I call it the tumbler. I drove it around in Arkham Knight. Great stuff. It sounds like a beast.
Arkham Knight is really cool in that. Yeah, in that game, very cool.
I think I'll find a clip or something.
All right.
Is it my turn or?
I think
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if Kenny's gonna show off his stuff, I'll show off my cool Dark Knight book.
Hey,
Shit.
Sophie. Hey, Sophie, can you bring that when you come in April? I want to
I
look.
can. You can look through it. I can give it to
want
you.
to.
I literally never use this anymore. I could just give it to you for your birthday or something.
Oh my god, I
I
would
think
love
I think I
that.
read through one of those when I
Look,
went to
I've got a
Barnes and
bunch of
Noble one time.
Gotham like stickers, Gotham Police Department stickers and shit. I haven't
Dang.
looked through this in
I
so
like
long.
stickers.
It's like it's got like the whole like blueprint for the Tumblr and the Batmobile and the bat suit. Like look at
That's
this.
fucking awesome.
Look at
Well,
how cool that
I
is.
love that.
Yeah. My birthday is in April, Sophie. Just so you know.
Oh shit!
Yeah, but
Yeah, Sarah's already happened.
Sophie's
So,
my.
you know, why not?
But Sophie loves
No,
my
Sarah's a Gemini. Sarah's in the
I'm in
summer.
June.
June
Yeah, she's
10th.
June.
Yeah, so mine's closer. So you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
You know,
Sophie loves me more.
wow.
Yes,
It's cool, but you know what? I'll just take it from Sarah one
I've
time.
known Sarah the longest.
She'll let
Yeah.
me borrow it.
Okay. Well,
Anyways,
Sophie,
the
what are your
movie.
thoughts on Batman Begins?
I love this trilogy. It's probably it's what got me into like superheroes and my obsession with Batman when I was younger. This is like probably one of the best superhero origin stories. Like like great first film for the trilogy. I'm gonna stick with what Sarah said. It's also probably my least favorite, but I still love it. It holds up on rewatches. Like whenever I rewatch the trilogy, I'm like, shit, I forget how good Batman Begins is really, really good. It's a little too long, I would say, but it's a great origin story. I really like the villain. Ra's al Ghul is pretty fun. Definitely doesn't compare to like Bane or Joker, but he's still a solid villain. Kristen Bale's fantastic. It's just a really great introduction to the world of Gotham and the character and his motives and whatnot. It's a great setup to the films to come, and Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard hit it out the park with the themes. I wish they came back more in the second and third movie because I really like some of the music in this film that doesn't really reappear in the next two films, but c'est la vie. Good stuff. I like this one a lot.
Okay. So where do we want to put it on the tier list?
I'd say below Memento and A.
Yeah, I'd say either low A or
High B.
I'd say
Yeah.
above
For the sake of not
Insomnia
having
and
everything
B.
in the top.
I would say
Above
like
Insomnia
low
B,
A,
I wouldn't
high
mind
B.
either.
Yeah, it's
I'd say
definitely
a
better
high
than
B. High B's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
high B
From
is
what I'm
good.
hearing, this is about Insomnia B then.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
Nice. So, Sarah, talk about The Prestige.
Prestige. Fucking love this movie. Love this. I saw this one also for the first time like maybe a year ago or so, but I've already rewatched it like 3 or 4 times.
As you should.
It's so good. It's so good. I love Christian Bale. I was really excited to watch this one once I found out that he was in it.
And also to watch this.
That too. Most of the movies I watch are because you tell me to watch them, but that's besides the point.
I'm so happy you liked it.
The David Bowie cameo, I always love that because David Bowie's cool. Hugh Jackman's really good in it. Scarlett Johansson, I had no idea she was in it when I started watching it. So when she showed up, it was like, is that her?
Wolverine and Black Widow and Batman? What?
But the thing I love the most about this movie is once you've seen it and you know how it ends and you know the big twist, like you can go back and notice all the little details that like pretty clearly hint at it, but are hard to pick up on it until you know the twist. And it's like every single time I've rewatched it, I've found something new. I've noticed like some little detail that just makes it just more and more enjoyable. And I love the like competitive like story between Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale's characters. It's just this movie, every single time I've watched it, it's gone higher and higher on my ranking for Nolan, and also just in general, it's one of my favorite movies. I can't say enough good things about this movie. It's so good.
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorite Nolan movies. It's my second favorite, and I think I've only seen it once. So now that Yeah, I need to watch it again because I know the
It's
twist
an
now.
amazing rewatch.
It's
Oh
so
god,
And
I think it's even
like,
better on a rewatch.
It's-
But I would give anything to watch it again
yeah. I want to
Mhm.
watch it for the first time again. Oh my
for the
god.
first time. That's what I meant to say. Again for the
Mhm.
first time. Yeah.
yeah, but just like that, knowing the twist, it would be interesting to watch it from that point of view. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, this is Hugh Jackman's second best role, probably behind Prisoners.
I would say that.
Am I
I would
right?
agree with that.
Fair opinion. Fair opinion. I like this movie more, but I am also very biased towards Christopher Nolan.
Fair. But no, it's a great movie. I think just like the way like Andrew and Borden, like their relationship together is really, really interesting, and definitely one I gotta rewatch soon.
Yeah. I definitely agree with everything you guys have said. Definitely the point that Sarah makes, how you like just notice like just like even like tiny things each time you watch it. Like I rewatched it last week, and it was so crazy, like just picking up on like small things that I just like once you know the twist, it's sort of just like a totally different film. Well, I wouldn't say totally different, but it just sort of, you just look at everything differently than the first time you watch it. I think that's just why it works so well for me. Um, yeah, I'm a ever since I was a little kid, I was like a big like magic fan. So this movie just appealed to me a lot. So I loved it a lot. It's just a great rivalry movie between like Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. It's, yeah, you can't go wrong with David Bowie. I really wish he would have just like broke out, just started singing or something. But hey, I get it, Christopher Nolan, I get it.
Tesla was known to sing, so.
But yeah. I love the movie. I think it's definitely one of the top ones for me out of Christopher Nolan's filmography. And I think each time you rewatch it, so like with Memento for me, it just gets better on every rewatch. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got a bit to say about this one. Because I think I watched this one for the first time back in like 2012 after I finished the Dark Knight trilogy, and I'm like, I'm gonna see what else Nolan has. So I'm watching it, and I was just like obsessed with like Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, Christian Bale at the time. I was like, these actors are the best actors in the world. No one's better than them. Blah blah blah. So I'm watching this movie, and it ends, and I think it's the first movie I ever went when it did where it ended. I took the little button of the little time thing. I went all the way back and I started it over and I watched it again because I was like, how did I miss this? How was I so stupid not to know the twist? My jaw was on the floor. My mind was blown. I watched it again and I'm like, oh my God, crazy good movie. It's one of my favorite Nolan movies, and I have quite a few favorite Nolan movies. And I too, like Jacob, was very into magic in the beginning of high school, end of middle school, and I could really, like, I was super into card tricks and stuff. So when I watched this movie, I was like, yes, let's go magic. I love it. Are you watching closely? Let's go.
Give me Now You See Me vibes.
Yeah, well, this is so much better than Now You See Me.
Now You See Me is better than The Prestige for sure.
I think Now You See Me is underrated.
Yeah, but it's still not better than this movie.
That's true.
The rivalry,
it doesn't even come close.
The rivalry is fantastic. The obsession to try to outdo the other is just fantastic. I really love it. They just outdo each other every time until someone just ends up, I don't want to say anything. But I really love this one. It blew my mind. I watched this. I showed one of my friends at Purdue this movie, and I'm watching it, and I'm just like, oh God, he has to know that the twist. Like because I'm watching, I'm like, it's so obvious. And then when it happened, he was like, what? And I'm like, I'm so happy he didn't get it because I'm here thinking, oh my God, he has to know. Like, come on. But I guess not. And it still just gets people, and it's. I love seeing people's reactions to this movie. Like Sarah said, I wish I could watch this for the first time because it's a really good first watch and a really good rewatch too. It's super entertaining. You don't feel the runtime. The music's actually not bad. It's pretty good. It's just not amazing.
I mean,
Um,
it's not what you focus on in this movie. I feel like
Not that
I-
it needs to.
so much other stuff going on.
yeah, after a couple rewatches, I was like, let me hear the music, and it's just in the background. Like, it's nothing notable, but it does add to the film's mystery kind of intensity. I don't know. But yeah, Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, awesome performances. Rebecca Hall's pretty good too. I think she's in that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. David Bowie, awesome. He's not even really cameo. He's kind of a big part of the movie.
True.
And then Andy Serkis is good too.
Andy Serkis.
Just a great. It's a fantastic movie. I love it, and it's a Nolan classic.
I haven't seen this movie in a minute. It's been probably 5 years.
You should rewatch it.
You know, I'll try, Sarah. Sorry. I watched this in my honors freshman English class because we were doing Frankenstein, and my teacher thought it was close.
What?
I don't know.
That's really funny.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
the
we watched
electricity
it.
or
I was like,
something?
oh, this is awesome. I'll get to watch a Christopher Nolan movie I haven't seen because I'd seen I think 5 of them to that point: the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, and Interstellar. And watching it in class setting was neat. But yeah, I haven't watched it since, and I know I really enjoyed it. The twist got me. The one particular one is it's just really shocking, and it kind of just takes full advantage of the concept. I feel like it's not grounded as other ones, but I feel like that adds to the film. It like takes full advantage of it's like kind of this sci-fi concept. And with that, it provides more rooms for like twists and turns, and it also that's stupid. But no, I enjoyed it. I think this is probably in the bottom half of like my Nolans because not that this is bad. I have this at like number 7 on my ranked.
Which is why you need to rewatch it.
No,
You
that's
can put it
fair.
on
He hasn't seen it
rewatch.
in a while. It's,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Which
That's okay.
it's why he needs to rewatch it.
oh my
but
God,
it's
Sarah.
it just like the six above it. I just enjoy more. I still like this movie a lot, so it's not bad.
I
For the
mean,
record, it's not bad.
This
not
did
bad.
start off at. I'm agreeing with you. This did start off at, I'm pretty sure, at either 6 or 7 for me, and now it's at number 4.
It's at number 4 for me too, Sarah.
We probably don't have
definitely
the same
a
dream of
rewatch.
it.
A rewatch needs to be.
We
Done
do in different
because-
order.
Oh, you really?
No, well, I think we're missing one movie,
Yeah.
but 2 are up. I don't know. We'll see.
Definitely with Sarah's number 1 pick.
We all know what it is.
All
All
right.
right, where are we gonna rank this, guys?
S tier.
I
S
have
tier.
it
I'd say
below
A.
Memento.
Yeah, I would
tier.
say that too.
I would put an
I-
S.
I put an S as well.
S tier.
Low S,
Yeah.
high A. That's what I would
S
do.
tier wins out then.
Let's
put it-
go.
Let's go.
Damn. All right.
It's okay, Kenny. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm happy with that placement.
I'm okay with it. I think
I mean, I'm
prefer
not
just
like,
Memento.
really?
Yeah, I from
I
what
think
you were
I
talking
definitely
about.
I probably enjoyed Prestige more than Memento, even though I have Memento higher on my list. I gotta reevaluate this. I haven't updated it in like a year. It published 1 year ago, so I gotta figure that out. I think that's it.
Well then, let's move on to The Dark Knight. And, I'm not gonna say too much. You know, it's The Dark Knight, and I know people who love this movie a lot more than I do. So, like, I understand the love. I don't love it. I don't quite have that, but it's still great. I mean, Heath Ledger is amazing as Joker. So, you know, that's a given. It's Mark Hamill is very close behind, but yeah, I will move on to Jacob.
Oh,
Jared
I was so
number
confused. I was like, Mark Hamill isn't in The Dark Knight.
No, like, Joker, I was like,
Did I miss
people thought
something?
play Joker. I think Mark Hamill's the second best.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with Mark Hamill being second best. But yeah, I think this is one of the best comic book movies of all time. Can't go wrong. I think what really sells it for me, or what I enjoy so much, is just how dark and gritty the story is, but it also feels like grounded compared to like other comic book movies that were coming out at the time. Yeah, and I just think like the dark and gritty Gotham, it just sort of is just built on what Christopher Nolan set up in the Batman Begins. So it's just increased. Um, yeah, I love the environment that the movie takes place in. Um, and the problems that occur in the story, like with like the villains and stuff, it's not like, like, oh, we're trying to destroy the world or whatever. It's just about just like crime, like mob bosses, and I think that's just what really does it for me. I like those types of stories anyway. And I think when you add in like the Joker, and then you also get sort of like the justice elements of like Two-Face and like Harvey Dent, um it sort of just adds on more to kind of just like the morals of the story that Christopher Nolan really wants to bring to light. Yeah, it's just every time I watch it, I it means a lot to me, just because it's yeah, the story is just so great, and I love each character. I think does their best because they're all flawed in their own ways, and I think that's sort of something that you can really tell a movie is good when each character is flawed, but you still end up finding ways to like them, or just find ways to appreciate them as characters. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the movie.
Sophie?
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I don't really have much else to add on besides and Matthew already brought up the performance by Heath Ledger and Joker is just iconic and got him an Oscar. Um, it's just like it's gonna go down in history as one of the best performances in like a comic book movie ever. And yeah, this is probably one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I was obsessed with it when I first watched it. Uh, and I remember my parents went to go see it in theaters, and I never got to see it in theaters because I was, I guess, too young. 2008, I don't know. I wish I got to see it in theaters, but I remember when I asked my parents, "How'd you like it?" and my mom went, "It was loud, really loud." And then I said to her, "You're getting old." I don't know what else to say that hasn't been said about this movie already yet. The score is fantastic. It's somehow better than Batman Begins. The theme for the Joker is just fantastic. I really like the story in this one. It just shows how vulnerable Bruce Wayne can be, and when he's put in situations when he's got to like save people he loves. Yeah, it's just really, really great, grounded film, but also has some, crazy good topics on, corruption and mob bosses and whatnot. Like what Jacob was saying was really good stuff. And yeah, also this is probably I really like Batman's suit in this one a lot more than Batman Begins. It's way cooler. I mean, it's the same one in Rises, but it's pretty dope in this one. And it's probably my favorite of the trilogy. It's probably the tightest script too. It doesn't really waste time on anything. It just keeps going, and the pacing's fantastic given the long run time. But I don't care. I honestly could have watched way more of the movie. But yeah, I love it. One of my favorites. Definitely one of Nolan's best films.
This what I was saying with like Batman Begins, where it was like Nolan trying to find his groove with action. This is him finding his groove. Like it's not like the hand to hand stuff is like it's supposed to look pretty, raw, like especially when like it's like all the Joker stuff like in the apartment, or when he comes out of the body bag. But like the whole vehicle, like the whole like Harvey Dent Joker Batman sequence with the tumbler and everything, it's great. It's awesome. And like this is Nolan with full use of like IMAX, and it leads to like some really good shots of just like huge wide shots of the city. Like you have one of like of Shanghai, and then one of like Chicago in the beginning with a theme. It's just nice. It's just a really good movie to look at, and there's so much going on, and you never get bored because. And I always forget what happens next, like because there's so much like in the story. There's one thing, like I feel like if you dive in pretty deep into this movie, you're gonna get into like a whole plot hole kind of thing with like Joker's plan.
Don't talk about the plot hole.
Okay. No, I'm saying okay. What I'm saying is that I feel like you can forgive it a bit much, or a bit, because it's just a fun movie. I feel like once we get to Rises, you really kind of think about it more. But this, you're just like, okay, this is awesome. Great performances, great action, great, like outstanding music. I still listen to music probably from this one the most, and then Rises. But like the Why So Serious at the beginning, and then like the whole sequence with like the final sequence with the sonar or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah,
and
the Iron Man, the Iron Man. He goes Iron Man with his eyes.
Yeah, whatever that is, like the fucking sonar, like with the cell phones,
the lights. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Kind of goofy.
Yeah, it's a little goofy, but I don't know. It's Batman stuff.
It's still fun. I'm like, it's Batman.
Yeah.
Give me anything.
Yeah. But I like some of the choices where there's like no music in like the whole like car sequences with the trucks and all that. No music there. That's neat. And I always like there's like that one little detective thing. Like it's kind of like it's pretty short. Like with the bullet in the wall, and he's like doing some detective work on that, and it leads to another thing. I always liked that scene. Oh, and then the scene where all the cops just like run, like there's so many cops and like on the block, and it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. I had a cohesive thought and I lost it.
Show my cards. There's the Joker, and then this one is called Harvey Two-Face. As everyone knows, that is his full name. Yeah. No dent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it's to build off the plot hole thing. I just don't like talking about it. I don't like hearing about it because I just like to ignore it, because this was what I wrote in like my most recent Letterboxd review. It's just like, to me, this is what I feel like the perfect movie is. Like, I know objectively there's probably flaws, but I don't agree. So I just like to ignore them, as we will see with a certain movie that we will be talking about in a little bit. But
Tenet.
Sure. But I love this movie so much. Somehow the Joker, this is easily the best Joker performance, but it's not my favorite villain role of all time. But every time I watch it, it's just, I'm blown away all over again by like how good Heath Ledger is as the Joker. One of my favorite scenes is, oh God, why am I completely forgetting what the scene is now? I had all these thoughts, all these things I was going to say, but then because I'm the last one to talk about it, I forgot like half of what I was going to say. But I love this movie.
We should start with you last for Dark Knight Rises too, so you forget everything.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No.
Actually, you'll be
This isn't a Christopher Nolan rank. This is a pick on Sarah podcast.
You'll be third for Dark Knight Rises, I think. So
I was gonna say like one of my favorite scenes.
The hospital blow up scene.
The hospital blow up. That's what I was gonna talk about. Hospital blow up.
I can see in your mind.
I love that scene so much. Like I don't know. Explosions are cool, but like the way that what happens is just the Joker walking away in a fucking nurse's outfit.
That was improvised.
Yeah, like because I mean, like it's a huge like explosion. Like you can't exactly recreate that very easily without like spending a lot of money and destroying more buildings. So like that's like it works so well with the character, like how it happened too. And like I really like that. One thing I really liked also was I really like Maggie Gyllenhaal a lot more as Rachel than Katie Holmes. So like that recasting, it threw me off so much when I was younger because the concept of recasting actors like in movies like didn't register with my mind because I was like I was a child when I first watched it.
You gotta do the Harvey. You gotta do the Harvey Rachel. It's like Rachel.
Yeah, and then just the thing I love about the Joker is just like he doesn't really have a plan. It's just pure chaos. Create as much chaos as you can. He's not like
an agent of chaos.
Yeah. Chaos is
the
awesome.
name of one
I
of the
love
songs
chaos.
on the album, and I love
Yeah.
that song.
It's a great song.
It's a
I
great
listened to it like 3 times in a row the other day.
It's so good, right? It's so intense.
So good.
Wow.
That's probably
What is
all I'll
it?
say to keep this not too long.
One thing I wanted to add was I feel like the cross cutting in this is like probably the best. I actually no, not the best because the best is probably in a Inception, but like just the like difference in scenes. Like you have the cross cut of like the phone in the guy's stomach. I forget what else is in that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just it's just kind of neat. Like he does it really well. And the one it's the one at the funeral where he's like Bruce is up top, and then there's a cross cut to the cops, and then there's a cross cut to the mayor speaking. And it just provides so much tension, and like as the camera is panning over to all the guys with the shooting, like it's like he just like he carries that great use of cross cutting over to Inception, which like I think Inception. We'll get into that. That's next.
One thing I forgot to add of what I have to say is because it's basically my version of the fact. I always have to mention Lower Wacker Drive, where they shot like the chasing where like the Joker's like hanging like out the truck window or whatever with like it. I don't know. Every time I drive through that when I'm in the city, I feel like I'm in the movie just because I don't know. I love this movie. I love just.
Or what about when he's in the Lambo and he's driving in those like it's like those yellow underpasses under the subway. Like I always see that when I'm in Chicago. I'm like,
oh yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
There's gonna be scenes like that in the new Batman movie because my sister saw part of that movie be filmed in Chicago.
Well, what's interesting about that one is that it's like a amalgamation of. Is that even a word? I keep saying that.
It is a word. It is a word.
Okay. It's just like a combination of different cities. So it's gonna be like London, and like UK. It's.
Well, I mean, that's
be like a hodgepodge of Gothic and urban culture. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure all the movies, like at least in the Dark Knight trilogy, like none of them were filmed in one specific city. I just know the Dark Knight was very heavily filmed in Chicago
and Hong Kong.
Well, obviously, but like,
and then they
I said Shanghai.
And then they changed it to Pittsburgh in the next movie.
Yeah, that's exactly
interesting.
They still use Chicago though.
Scene could have been Soldier Field.
Dude, that football scene's so freaking lit. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We got 2 more movies, guys. We got 2 more movies. Hold your horses.
You guys, are you guys ready to rate this?
Oh, I have 2 things to add. 2 things to add.
Yeah.
Yes.
One, the interrogation scene is like one of my favorite scenes in like any movie.
Yes.
2, shout out to Christopher Nolan again in a bad way for scaring me again as a child. I went to see this movie in theaters when I was like 6 years old.
Yeah,
oh my god.
And the darn Two-Face reveal scared the crap out of me as a kid. So thank you, Christopher Nolan.
Oh my god, it's your fault for seeing this as a 6-year-old.
Thank you, Mom.
That's not his fault. I'm gonna go see the Dark Knight. I'm 6 years old.
And I woke up to Two-Face scarring me. So thank you. But yeah, that's all I had.
So like a couple of years ago, I got pretty into like Batman comics, and I read the Long Halloween, and this movie is basically not the entire thing, but like with the Two-Face, that is basically the Long Halloween, and Chris Nolan is credited as that being his inspiration for the Harvey Dent side of the story. And so I'd recommend Long Halloween if you haven't read it.
They also made like an animated movie, like
Yeah,
two-parter.
recently.
Yeah, I think they changed some things. They changed things for the animated movies because they want to be different. So
All right. Where do we want to put this on the tier list?
S above
Oh,
Prestige.
S.
yeah, it's S.
S
Easy.
above
Yeah,
Prestige.
yeah.
I guess I'm the only above. I'm the only person below the Prestige.
No.
Probably.
We're going
You
above.
like this bus?
I like the Prestige more than Dark
That's
Knight. Yeah.
understandable. Hey, Sarah,
Yeah,
don't
no.
make that face. That is understandable.
I
Leave it be.
disagree.
I understand that, Matthew. Very respectable choice.
Sarah, chill. Sarah, chill.
Tara,
Have
whoa,
you ever
whoa,
known me to
whoa.
be a chill person?
That's a good point.
Oh, Marissa
Just wait until we get
Wilcox sits
Dark
up there.
Knight Rises.
I'm gonna drag that shit up as high as I can.
All right. You know what? I decided to change my Prestige to A tier. No, I'm joking. All right. Let's go to Inception.
Okay, I'm good with that.
No. Leaving Prestige.
Jacob, start us off with Inception.
Okay, Inception is my fourth favorite movie of all time. I love this film. I try to watch it a couple times a year, you know, as one does with this film, of course. Literally the only problem I have with this film is that like the first time watching it, it's hard to follow, but then after you like watch it a couple more times, it's easier to digest, I guess. I think what is just amazing about this film is just how smart the concepts are, and then how well Christopher Nolan can execute them from like when it comes to like script to screen. And I think that just is due to like the amazing visuals of like with like the practical effects, like the spinning like hallway scene. Oh my gosh, so good. And just like even like the CGI visuals with it's not like the collapsing like city like mirror sort of. Yeah, just great practical effects all around. Just awesome set pieces. Especially in like the third act when they get near like the snow area and everything, just great set pieces. And I'll say the cast is like it's like one of the best ensembles in my opinion in like a movie. I think everyone performs amazing. Especially Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. They're just it's just so good. And I think it's like it's so in my opinion it feels fast paced, but in like a good way. I don't know if other people have that opinion. It just like everything works so well for me, just like the story wise. It's just like everything's constantly moving, especially when they get into like actually like the dreams. Uh it's constantly just ramping up, especially in the third act. Everything just ramps all the way up to 11. And yeah, especially the twist near the end of the film when you find out like Cobb and his like wife is just really good. And, oh my gosh, there's just it's so much in my head to think about this movie. It's just so good. Yeah, all the performances are amazing. And yeah, it's just the concepts to me are just so mind blowing about how like Christopher Nolan could come up with like stuff like that. And then just I feel like he would be the only he's like one of the only directors I think that could like pull something off like that and like bring it to screen. And then of course one of my favorite parts is the ending. It like leaves viewers wondering, you know, questioning like the reality of the actual like ending and the movie itself. So yeah, overall one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'll leave it at that and let other people talk about it too.
Jacob, you just stole all my thoughts, bro.
I know.
What
I'm
the
sorry.
hell?
I
I'm
love
just
this
kidding.
movie so much.
No,
nothing else to say
I
now.
mean, I'm the exact same way. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It was actually my favorite of all time before La La Land came out, and then overtook that spot. But right now, it's sitting in my top 5 very comfortably. It's my favorite Nolan movie. I remember watching it when it came out, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." And my dad and we had it playing on the TV for a whole weekend straight. We watched it at least 6 times. We were trying to get everything, like we were trying to analyze, like we were, let's go back. We have to catch this part, or look at how this part connects with that part. We watched that movie so many times, like back to back. Like when it ended, we started it again, and we kept going because it was just so much fun to watch it. And we would just like make dinner, and it was on, and we blasted it too. We had our speakers, and we just extra brah, brah. That's where this came about. And Inception holds a very special place in my heart because it began my obsession with film scores. I listened to this. It's the first ever like film score I bought on iTunes, and it's the first time I ever heard of Hans Zimmer. And I listened to the soundtrack or the score all the time. I was obsessed. Time is such a great song. Dream is Collapsing. That entire album I will listen to, and it's a little underrated just because it's overshadowed a lot by Interstellar now. But it's still a good one. It's still a really good one, and it's what began my downward spiral to this chaos that is my love for film scores. But yeah, about the movie though, this movie rocks. I can't believe at one time I was like, I can't believe I said this movie was confusing at one point. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're watching it for the first time, it's a little confusing, but now I'm like, this is so easy to understand. Come on, you guys are just dumb. This is a piece of cake, easy peasy. Yeah, but there's just something about it that you watch it, and I still catch on little things that I didn't before. And if you give it enough time apart of like your last watch, you forget. Or I remember I hadn't seen Inception in like a whole year. And I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about all this. This is great stuff. It's perfect." And I considered it a perfect movie for a while. I still do. It's such a fun watch. I remember this was one of the few movies I had downloaded on my computer, and I would just watch it on the airplane. It's a great airplane ride because it just clocked in at I think 2 hours and 30 or 40 minutes. And anytime I went to Purdue and back home, I'd watch Inception on the plane, and it was amazing. It's so fun. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than I agree with a lot of what Jacob said about the plot of the film and the performances and the set design. I really love the cool practical visual effects that they had going on with the rotating hallway and the collapsing city and all the effects that they had during when they were in the dream world. And it just every little detail in the world building is just fantastic in this. You just get immersed into it, and you're like, oh, I want to have dreams like this. This is pretty cool. I remember watching an Honest trailer about it. The guy was just complaining about all the stupid stuff they dream about. It's like, come on, the guy couldn't dream up like a tank or something, and they dream up these little medium guns. So that was pretty funny. This movie's fantastic, and I really love how people are still talking about the ending today. That's just what makes a great movie. It's been 12 years since it's come out, and people are still talking about the ending and whether or not it was real or not. Like I'm not even gonna avoid spoilers here. Everyone knows what happens.
Everyone
was
knows.
it a dream? Was it not a dream? Who knows? And there's like there's solid facts that it was reality, but then there's other theories that it was a dream. And I love digging deep into those debates. It's fascinating. And I'm just gonna stop right there because I'm rambling now. Kenny, you go.
I hate this movie. No, I'm kidding.
We would have kicked you out.
No, this movie is pretty cool. I think it's like one of the movies you can go back to the most. Like that, I feel like this and like The Dark Knight. Like if I'm watching something with people and I want to watch a Christopher Nolan movie, those are the two I'd watch. Because this is just a full on. This is now just an action movie. I feel like Dark Knight has some action, but it's also like a thriller. But this is just solid action, and it like just dives right into the concept, which it seems like it's like a very simple concept, but also very complex at the same time. And I like what Sophie, you were saying that like I don't get why like people are so confused.
Yeah,
and I get that too. I feel like it helps with the differentiation of each scene or each dream. Like you have like at the end you have like the snow fortress, and then you have like the hotel,
The tears.
And then,
Those are
yeah, then
amazing.
you have the rain.
levels.
You have the rain in the van, and then they were in a plane, right? Yeah, they're in a plane. So like you can tell what's happening in each, you know.
It's just beautiful the way that was put together. It's just
Yeah,
masterful.
definitely
Masterful.
took a lot of work to make this.
It's
Well,
his
he
masterpiece.
said that it was a passion project of his. But
Well, he
this,
took a lot of inspiration from Paprika. That's like a big.
yeah, I saw that he everyone brings up that they brought some like it kind of some anime.
It is an anime.
inspirations.
It's actually a pretty good movie. If you guys want to check it out, if you loved Inception, definitely check out Paprika. It's similar.
Yeah, I've heard it.
So.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kenny. Go for it.
Oh no, you're good. I feel like with that, I feel like this is like Christopher Nolan's Matrix, because like Matrix is kind of like influenced by you know, like Hong Kong cinema and also like anime. And this like it's like less depressing than the Matrix, but it just takes full advantage of its concept and goes with it. It's kind of a dumb comparison, but you get the point. But yeah, I listen to music still. I think the one I listen to the most isn't like Dream is Collapsing. I used to listen to that a lot, or really Time.
Such a good one.
I listen to Mombosa the most.
Oh, Mombosa when you're driving on the highway. It hits different. You just want to cut everyone off, and you're just like, I'm being chased. I listen to that in the morning sometimes on my drive just to get to work faster.
Oh my god,
it's good stuff, dude. It's good.
But yeah,
stuff.
this is a very cool movie. I like all the little details. Like, of course, everyone probably brings up that like the names of the characters are an anagram for dreams or whatever. Just like those are a little neat touch, you know, like little fun detail. And yeah, and like I was saying with Dark Knight, with the cross cutting, this is like where it's the best probably out of all of his work, because it just like you just see what's what's happening in each scene, and you see the effects of like how each scene kind of carries over. Like if it's turning around in one scene, that leads over to like a full 0G sequence. So it's pretty neat. That's all I have to really say.
I'm gonna make a Hans Zimmer playlist right now as we speak because I'm super into it.
When you're done, can you send it to me?
Yeah.
You don't need Inception. You don't need you need some a Boss Baby.
Madagascar,
No.
Yeah.
Megamind,
You need Boss
Thelma and
Baby.
Louise,
Gotta
The
put some
Holiday.
Kung Fu Panda.
All right, Sarah.
Wait, yeah, so I don't really know what else I could add to this, but I think it's one of those movies. It makes me realize how much I love Nolan, because like I have this embarrassingly low in my ranking of his movies, but like I love it so much.
You only watched it, I think, 2 years ago when
it was
like for the movie club. Remember?
Yeah, so like because I remember you were texting me like during it, and you're like, "Fine, I'll stop bothering you so you can actually focus."
I know. I'm so sorry.
And then I rewatched it pretty recently, and it was like it just reminded me of like how well put together it is, and just like how engaging of a story. And it's like I complain about long run times in movies all the time, but like you do not feel 2.5 hours in this. And it's like one of those things, like I'm not quite at the point where this can be like a background movie for me, but I feel like if it ever gets to that point where I've seen it enough times, it'll be something that I put on just for background noise, but I'll end up being distracted and just watching the whole thing because it's such a well-made movie. And then I don't know as much about movie scores, and I only know like 2 of the songs off the top of my head, but Time, just like instant chills. Like it's so good. It's such a good song. I love Hans Zimmer. I love Christopher Nolan. This movie's great. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, you guys have already said everything. This is my favorite Nolan movie. I watched it for the first time since theaters 2 years ago, 2020, early 2020. And so, it's more fresh in my brain, and I feel like I still remember a whole lot from the movie, but it's just incredibly well crafted, and like the story, you know, it's just like it's a heist movie, but it's like it's so creative with like how it uses like the dream layers and like how also just the editing, how it has to like cut from like one dream to another layer, and it's like it's not, yeah, it's really well done. Yeah, I was confused when I watched it in theaters, but I was also 10 years old, so I
Understandable.
yeah. But now that I've seen it more recently, it's just like it's not confusing at all. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
Like
best.
I can see how people would get confused if they aren't paying attention to the movie like they should, but because it changes throughout the dreams pretty quickly, like once it gets later. But it's, other than that, it's really not confusing.
No, it's
like Nolan explains it pretty clearly, like the concept.
I
Like,
mean,
there's
Joseph
a lot
Gordon-Levitt.
of exposition.
Yeah, he's
you
the
know.
exposition dump.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Joseph
help that a lot of the
Gordon-Levitt.
plot points I could barely understand with Ken Watanabe's accent. I was like, oh god, I need subtitles.
No,
It was tough. As
Really?
a young and you know I could under. It was tough, so.
Yeah. I mean, if you're younger, then maybe.
Yeah,
but
look, as like a little
he's
like
he's
now
an
now
amazing
it's
guy.
now it's easier, but like when I was
Let them
younger, I
fight.
was like, what is he saying?
I just need subtitles for everything. Because,
Yeah,
So do I.
at the same
Yeah.
time, I just need subtitles all the time.
The performance is
them
also
fight.
all great. I mean,
Yes.
like this is a movie where you need to like have amazing performances, but like it just
And Leo is just outstanding in this. Oh my.
If you scroll through the Letterboxd reviews, there's so much that just talks about like basically people saying like they ship Tom Hardy and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's characters, and there's the different variations of all the people like shipping all that. Like it's so fucking funny.
and Tom Hardy's great. He's
Oh
really
yes,
funny. He's probably
It's
my
very
favorite.
good.
He's having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pacing is perfect. I think just you guys have already said you don't feel the runtime. It's just paced so well. So I got nothing to add. You guys have already said everything. This is my favorite Nolan movie, so it's the top of S tier for me.
I would say
I
S
would-
tier as well.
I would say behind Dark Knight.
I'd say it's the S tier, like nothing in front and nothing in.
That's
in
how
front
I
of it.
feel.
Damn.
I'm not gonna fight just because I already know that I would
The
lose.
best one. It's number one.
Number one.
Easily number one for me.
I'm here for one and one thing only, and it's to drag The Dark Knight Rises up as high as I possibly can.
All right. Well, let's move on to The Dark Knight Rises, and we will start with Sarah.
Are we actually starting with?
No, wait, what?
I'm
supposed to be
the
Sophie.
host. I can decide. I'm the host.
I mean,
Well, damn.
if we're starting with me, I guess we're starting with me.
Sarah's gonna say all the good things.
So,
I have
Sophie
about
will
the
start with
movie, so-
Interstellar. Sarah, we'll start with you here for this one.
Wait, so we're starting with me, okay? Okay.
For the next one, we'll start
Okay,
back up
okay.
Sophie. But yeah, we can start with Sarah.
So, as you may know, this is my favorite movie.
Really?
I honestly don't really know why. Because objectively, Nolan has a lot of movies that are better than this, but I personally still love it. This was the first movie I ever cried watching because when I was younger, I didn't catch at the very end the whole like autopilot thing, and I didn't realize that until like I was like 17 or years old or something. So I spent like 5 years just totally thinking he was dead at the end of the movie.
That's so sad.
But back to actually talking about the movie, it's just one of those things like I can't really explain why I love it so much. Like I can like talk about like a few things that I really like the football scene. Like that's one of my favorite scenes in any movie. It's just I don't know why.
You like football?
Yes, but that's also not why I like the scene. It's just, I don't know, like to go from like the little kids singing the national anthem to just like the kickoff and like all the explosions and the player realizing, oh shit, my entire team just fucking died. And then like Bane comes out on the field and it's just and then Bane as well. Like he's no Joker, but like he's such a good villain. I still really like him as a villain. Uh, and then one thing that I feel like I have to mention, I know Sophie is the one I think that point first I got this from because of her review. When they're chanting when they're in like the pit thing, it sounds like
pasta,
yes,
pasta.
it sounds like they're just chanting fish pasta.
Yeah, that's literally like the first thing when I'm watching in the movie theaters. I'm like, are they saying fish, pasta, pasta?
Oh,
That's a good point. Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking back on
Fish,
that.
pasta, pasta.
And I
Whoa.
can't unhear it anymore.
Dang
It's
it, why'd you
not.
say
You're
that?
just saying, well, now it's gonna break your
They just say
perception
fish
of the
pasta.
chant because
Um,
it literally sounds like they're saying fish, pasta, pasta.
yeah, and then one more
Sorry,
thing.
I bursted everyone's bubble.
I really liked Anne Hathaway in this. This was not my first movie because I saw the Princess Diaries movies before I saw this because those movies are awesome. But I really liked her performance. I just think she added another, like, I don't know. I just really liked her performance as Catwoman. I don't know. I have such an irrational love for this movie that like people can point out all the plot holes they want, and it makes me love it even more. Partially out of spite, but also just because I just love it so much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I could say without rambling and repeating myself even more. But I love this movie so much.
Yeah, I've liked every Catwoman every actor who's played Catwoman so far. You know, I think Pfeiffer, Hathaway, Kravitz are the only ones I've seen.
Halle Berry?
So, oh no, well, she's not Catwoman. She's not Selena Kyle. She's
Oh yeah.
Kravitz,
I
the
mean,
movie
specifically
hasn't come
Selena
out
Kyle.
yet.
Yeah, no, Kravitz in Lego Batman movie.
I guess
I'm still being a voice actor. But yeah, specifically Selena Kyle because Halle Berry is Patience Phillips, and so I'm not. Yeah, but I haven't seen this since theater, so I'm not gonna say anything. I would just go with it.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Sarah said. I think this movie gets sometimes unnecessary hate. I think compared to his other films, I enjoy this movie a lot. I think it's one of my, I've yeah I it's one of my more rewatched Nolan films. Definitely not as much as like Inception or like Dark Knight. But yeah, I enjoy Bane as a villain. I think he is good. His accent kind of throws me off sometimes, but I don't know. I don't have too much of a problem with it. I think Tom Hardy does a good job. He really bulked up for the role. He's like a really menacing. Yeah, and I love the set pieces that occur in the movie, especially like at the beginning with like the airplane and the sort of near the end when all of, like the criminals and then like the police officers are like fighting each other at the end and like the like downtown. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I think what holds me back the most, Sarah mentioned it, was the like the plot issues in the film. There's just some things kind of just like throw me off a little bit. And uh yeah, I don't know. Like especially with like the National Guard near the end or like the army near the end, they sort of they sort of made some weird decisions that I was just wondering why. Um and I think the choice to make like Bruce Wayne be gone from Gotham for a couple months was kind of weird. I don't know. It didn't do too much for the pacing for me, but I just still found it weird. Um and I love the look that it gives of like Bruce Wayne and how he deals with the effects of the the ending of Dark Knight. Um and just sort of like how broken he is and how yeah, like everything that happened with like Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon. I really appreciate the look it gives into that. Yeah, I think that's mainly all I had to say for the movie. Just the plot holes kind of hold it back, but I still think it is a good movie overall with like good action and a good villain. So
Okay, Sophie.
I already spoke about Inception. Oh, we're not at Inception.
Did you think we were talking about Inception this whole time?
See, I
No.
skipped to Sarah because I was also I knew you weren't paying attention, so I'm just like, Sarah can start with The Dark Knight Rises. She's not paying
Yeah,
attention.
Dark Knight Rises. I was actually just looking at the score, the album for that. Very cool. I remember watching this and then like just crying. I watched this in theaters with two people that had never seen Dark Knight or Batman Begins. I dragged them to the theater. I was like, we have to watch this. And I watched it and I was like, I love it. I love this movie so much. I was obsessed. I watched it all the time. It played a lot on TV and I kept watching this one a lot. Like I think I've seen this one more than I have the other two.
I watched this movie so many times.
Yeah. But it hasn't aged the best for me. Like I rewatched the Dark Knight trilogy in 2020 during COVID, and I'm like, let's go Batman Begins, great. Let's go Dark Knight, woohoo! And then Dark Knight Rises, and I was like, oh, this is kind of goofy. Some of it's kind of goofy. I don't remember this happening or this being just like very conveniently there or like many plot holes, but that's okay. It kind of went over my head and it's a lot of fun. I really like Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. And then I was so obsessed with this movie in high school that my history teacher, whenever he talked to me, he would go and just do a Bane voice, and he would just talk to me in a Bane voice, and he'd do that with his mouth, and I'm like, and he just called me Blanos, and that's it. That's what he would do to make fun of me, and I thought that was very funny because that's the only way he spoke to me. So yeah, I really like this one. It's not the best Nolan. It's not the worst one either. I would say it's in the middle of the pack for me. I love the score for this. It's just Hans Zimmer. James Newton Howard did not come back to score this one, but I think Zimmer just went all out again. Fish, pasta, great. Bane is, I mean, Tom Hardy's great as Bane. A lot of people criticized it because it wasn't like the comics at all, but honestly, I had never read the comics and I thought he was pretty badass in the movie. Just don't understand why you would send all the cops to one location and then have no cops left over. Like what was that?
That's the big thing I think people point out of this.
I know, and I'm just like that's
okay.
kind of not a good writing decision.
Like if you're trying to be this grounded with Batman and you have that going on.
I mean, and you also have him escaping the pit and somehow making his way back to Gotham and then escaping the bomb, which is all fine. He's Batman; he can do whatever the hell he wants. But it gets to the point where it's like, this is kind of goofy. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like if we're doing that, he could have easily saved Rachel, or not Rachel. Oh wait, hold on. I forget that he saves Harvey Dent, and Gordon's the one that supposed to save Rachel, and he didn't get to her.
They thought that they were going flipped, but
I forgot. That was a really good scene. Fucking great scene. See, that's never mind.
In a better movie.
But The Dark Knight Rises, it got some great qualities. I love the relationship that he forms with Selena Kyle and Anne Hathaway, and Marion Cotillard is pretty good. As the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, and then you have the girl from the Kissing Booth who plays the young girl,
Joey King.
Joey King. She's pretty good. I really like that whole backstory. I wish they did a little better of the reveal, but and then you have him like she stabs him and he kind of just survives that too. It's like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? But the whole bomb scene, like that whole like last 30 minutes, that was intense. It's good stuff. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's great in the movie. I love the way this movie ends with, him just discovering the Batcave, and that song Rise is so good. And you have Michael Caine just nodding to him when he sees him in the little cafe. Which, you know what? Debatable. That all could be delusion. That probably didn't happen. He's probably dead.
Nolan likes his ambiguous endings.
Nolan does like his ambiguous endings, but I choose to believe that all is well and he survived, and
including
Bill
Dunkirk.
Batman
We
is
don't
still
know who
existing.
won the war.
Yeah, we have no idea. It's ambiguous. But that's all I'll say with The Dark Knight Rises. Solid really good movie. I have it at a 9 out of 10, but it probably will go back down to like an 8 out of 10. Sorry, Sarah, but
These are all valid criticisms. That's the thing. I'm very
it's okay
aware.
we know you love it so much. It's like my undying love for the Avengers 2012. I freaking love it. I know there's problems with it, but I will not take it. It's one of my favorite movies. So, all right, I'm finished. Is that it? Was that the last one, or is Kenny left?
Kenny's left.
I still gotta go.
I-
Here's the Bane one. No Catwoman one, which is kind of dumb. But you only have one. You had 2 cards for each movies, and then just one for Dark Knight Rises. I know that Catwoman's not really like a villain as much as Bane, but it would have been neat. But yeah, I think this and Dark Knight are the 2 I rewatched the most out of the trilogy. Dark Knight Rises was the first movie I think I bought on iTunes. What I like about it is the look. It's got like a colder look. As I like the look of it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic Gotham with like the snow and just a criminal overworld. Like Gotham times 2 maybe if it was like totally overrun by criminals. But I think like what I was saying with the Dark Knight is that like the plot holes or thinking about it, you can kind of forgive it because of how much is going on. But like this, I feel like less is going on in this movie, and once you think about some stuff, you can't really stop thinking about it, and it's kind of like this doesn't really make any sense. Like I was saying, like if you're trying to use a grounded approach to Batman, like Batman, but in our world, and you have stuff like this, it's like I reject your reality. I don't know, something like that. But the Batwing's cool. All the aerial shots. I love when Christopher Nolan does aerial shots. He does it pretty well. And a good finale. And I always enjoy watching this movie. It's I don't know. It's good. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece. It definitely has flaws. So.
2 more things I thought of while other people were
talking.
They're just specific scenes. The scene where the whole exile or like death by exile thing, and Gordon's like walking on the ice, and Batman just shows up and then just like lights the flare, and like the building just like has the bat like symbol on it. Chills. I love that scene. I don't know. I fucking love it.
And it's like the scene from Amazing Spider-Man 2. It says "I love you" on the bridge or whatever. Same thing.
And then the scene at the end, or towards the end, when it's like the funeral part where they're like at the grave, and like Alfred's just like bawling, saying that he failed him. Oh my god, that scene breaks me every time. I don't know, even though I've seen it as many times as I have, like I don't know. I love this movie so much.
Okay, well, are you guys ready to, if you don't have anything else to say, do we want to?
All right, Sarah, go ahead.
Top of S tier.
Oh my god, no way. I would say a high B. It's not better than Memento.
Yeah,
I put it at B.
I put it above Batman Begins.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Above Batman.
I enjoy it more
I think
than
we'll
Batman
put
Begins.
it there then, just so we'll put it top of V because compromise with Sarah.
Hey, I have one thing to say. That's not a compromise. You just listened to all their opinions and just left it there. If you compromise with me, it'd be bottom of
That
that.
is a compromise because I would probably put it lower.
We have a democratic system in this real rank.
This isn't democracy.
Like
this
no
is listen
S.
to
Majority wins. Okay, Sarah.
All right.
As I made my Hans Zimmer playlist, you guys can click on it.
What are your thoughts on Interstellar, Sophie?
I go first. Oh, I love this movie so much.
Me too.
That's
I yet again dragged friends to see this, and they didn't really like it that much because they were like, "It was so long," and I'm like, "This was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life." I don't know what to say. this movie really gets criticized a lot. I know why, but I don't freaking care. It reminded me a lot of Contact in a way, the movie that came out in the 90s with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. But this one just kind of explores more of, I guess, love and humanity and time and space, and I really love that. And the whole I like how, yeah, they go and travel along space just to look for a new home and whatnot, but it's just still grounded in that family aspect. God, I can't believe we're just jumping from Rises to Interstellar. I have to think about this movie now. Forget what happens. It's been a while since I've seen it. I think a year or two, maybe. No, I may have watched it last year. I can't remember, but it's one I need to rewatch. I should have done my homework, honestly, and rewatched all of these, but I didn't have time, and I watched Insomnia instead. But Interstellar has definitely one of the best film scores for any movie, and I find it extremely impressive that Zimmer composed this without a script. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he just went off and just I think he was given a general sense. Am I right? Something like that. Nolan's like, here, this is what the movie's about. Do something with it. Zimmer's like, all right.
No, he said
organ.
That.
I'm gonna fall asleep on my organ.
Space. He just said, oh yeah, this is a movie about a father and his daughter, and then
pretty
just
much
do that. Yeah.
My microphone fell. But yeah, it's a beautiful film about relationships and how far he's willing to go to, maintain that relationship. Like, I love how it's grounded with that father-daughter relationship, and it makes me cry in the end every time when he visits her when she's older and they make it oh my God, that whole scene. Honestly, I didn't expect it to go that way when I was watching it for the first time, and it did, and it felt so like weirdly meta, but like super philosophical and deep. I was like, what is going on? This is trippy. He's in like a 5-dimensional bookcase. I thought it was super creative the way they did that. Honestly, I thought it worked. It's pretty fun. It still blows my mind every time I watch it. It's also a really good airplane movie. I watch it a lot when I'm on the airplane. It's just the timing. It's because a lot of my flights are like 3 hours, so I just put it on and I'm there. Easy stuff. But yeah, going back to the movie, McConaughey gives a great performance as Cooper. Chastain's really good too. I wish she was in the movie more. She's a tremendous actress. I love how Timothy Chalamet. I love how he just like Timothy Chalamet jump scare. I forget he was in this movie.
Also Matt Damon jump scare.
Yeah, Matt Damon jump scare. This is like outtakes from The Martian.
Also,
I guess.
Renesmee is in it.
Yeah.
She is. Wait.
Isn't she Little Murph?
She's Murph.
She's young Murph. Yeah.
Don't let me leave, Murph. Make me stay, Murph. I don't really have much else to say, but this is my second favorite Nolan movie. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I really love what he did with the themes and space journey and that whole thing. It's just a lot of fun, and it's a great watch, and yeah, it's a great rewatch too. Great stuff. Love it.
I'm trying to piece together my history with this movie. I think I remember seeing stuff on YouTube before I was going to go see a movie in a theater, like late 2014. It probably was the third Hobbit movie. I'm like looking at movies that came out that season. That makes the most sense. Or maybe Big Hero 6. I don't know. But the first time I ever interacted with this movie was the soundtrack. I think it was on SoundCloud, and I listened to it when you could actually listen to music for free on SoundCloud. I don't really use SoundCloud now, but I think it's a paid service. But I just like love the music, and I didn't even watch the movie for like another year or two, and then I did, and it just kind of stuck with me. I think mainly because of the music and the visuals, and it's a neat story, and it was always my go-to movie to say is my favorite. But I don't even know if it really was, but I still enjoy each time, and I showed it to my brother 2 years ago, and he really liked it. The cross cutting, as I've brought up before, especially towards the end with the there's like two separate Matthew McConaughey's character in the 5D like the 5D bookcase area, and then Jessica Chastain's Murph at the house. Like the cuts between that are just really well done. And yeah, it's always a good movie to go back to and just take in all the music and the visuals. And I think like a myth I feel like people have with Nolan is that like he hates CGI. And it's not, I don't think it's that like he just likes CGI when it's like used well, like when it's incorporated well. It's not like it's actually part of the scene. It's to service the scene, you know, like he was praising Dune for all that, like their use of CGI. And like his CGI was like pre-rendered, I know, for the movie. Like they had it set before they started filming, and it was like all mathematically correct or whatever. But I just like how he blends the practical with the CGI, and that like everything's just thought out. And yeah, that's all I have to really say.
Can I mention something really fast before Sarah talks? I forgot to mention there's a scene in the movie where they just got back on the ship after they've like escaped Matt Damon or whatever, and they're trying to find their way back. And in the song that's called the song that happens during the scene is called Detach, and it's when Cooper detaches himself and kind of just sacrifices himself and goes into that black hole because they don't have time or something like that. And Anne Hathaway's like, no, please don't do it. That scene has probably one of the most beautiful like music I've ever heard like Zimmer compose. And I put it on my beautiful film score playlist, and one of my friends told me it's not beautiful. And I'm like, you're an idiot. And it was like the first song on my list, and I'm like, just skip to the end. I know the beginning is it because it's tense, like it's tense and stressful.
Are you talking about Catherine?
Yes, I am talking about Catherine. God damn her. I'm not gonna listen to this, but that bitch, how dare she? That's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. And it's one of the most I get chills. I get chills every time I watch it. I get chills every time I listen to it. It's just so powerful and epic, and it brings tears to my eyes. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
This entire movie just hits, man. It's wonderful. It's one of his more emotional films, and I really like it.
I know what you're talking about with the with Detach, because I've listened to that a lot. And it like amazing. It's a very loud and kind of dark song, and then it evolves into like a more beautiful tone. And that's kind of like how Hans did the score for Dunkirk. There's some songs that are like that, where it's like super tense for a lot of the song, and then it just like it's just like a sigh of relief. Like that's just
it is like a sigh of relief. You're right. I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to mention. I'm sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to like cut you off, but I wanted to say before I forgot, because I had stuff in my mind and I'm like, I'm gonna forget. All right, it's all you. Or unless Kenny wants to keep talking. But...
Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, Interstellar. Funny enough, this is the only Nolan movie I've seen in theaters, and I fell asleep when I saw this in theaters. I was like 14 and I didn't really know. I don't know. I didn't go to theaters super often for anything other than like Disney movies at that point in time. Like, so long movie. Like, I think it was the part where Matt Damon showed up. I think that's when I fell asleep when I was younger. But I don't fall asleep anymore. I love this movie. It's turned into one of my favorite movies. The score, I know I haven't listened to a whole ton of scores, but it's my favorite of everything that I have gone out of my way to listen to. I've been meaning to buy a vinyl of it, but I haven't done that yet.
I have, so suck it.
I didn't have a record player until like 2 months ago. So, but Cornfield Chase, it's always absolute absolutely beautiful song. I love how it's trending on TikTok right now because I just get to listen to the Interstellar score anytime I open up the app. But I think one thing I also really enjoy is the, like, I know it was kind of mentioned, like, how, like, the physics of everything, like, it's a lot of it's, like, pretty accurate, like, and, like, I don't remember if I feel like I read an article on this, like, years ago, but, like, how they had, like, an actual, like, team, like, to make sure that a lot of the physics of, like, the black hole, like, and, like, all that, like, how that
Well, they
is
consulted
accurate.
a very famous scientist. I forget his name, but he has glasses and a goatee. I know what he looks like, but like they consulted him on a lot of stuff, and they did as much as they could
Yeah.
to make it scientific. I forget accurate.
Yeah, and I love movies that are just like about like outer space for whatever reason. I mean, this movie is part of the reason I wanted to become an aerospace engineer because I think space is cool, even though I know this movie's not like what the job is.
Yeah, honestly, I think you should watch Contact. You'd like that movie a lot too.
I probably would. I
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
would.
I highly recommend you watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what else I can add to this. I remember when I watched this with my mom and my sister one time when it wasn't in theaters. It was like after I got like the DVD or something. My mom spent like the whole movie being like really confused for whatever reason. I'm like, this is one of Nolan's least confusing movies. How are you confused right now? But it's so good. I rewatch this one pretty often. This is outside of The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. This is probably the one that I've seen the most times because I've been watching it since it came out in theaters.
You must hate yourself for falling asleep during the movie when you first watched it.
Yeah, it was
This
like
is your
I was
favorite
like
movie.
I was so tired going to the movie theater, but I'm like, I have to go see this because it looks super cool because space is cool. And then I fell asleep and I'm like, I'm not gonna talk about this to my dad because he paid for my ticket, but he wasn't there. So I'm like, I'm just gonna not tell him.
I think I saw this movie twice in theaters, and I wish I saw it more because it's an epic experience in the theaters.
So good.
One thing I wanted to add, I don't know if I'm cutting you off, or two
No,
things.
I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, okay. This is the steelbook I got.
Oh, nice.
That's so cool.
It's pretty cool. I think the disc was scratched when I opened it. So when I watched it with my brother, but it's sad. Also, I think this film kind of led me into loving Ad Astra, which is kind of a totally different movie.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, Ad Astra is like way slower.
Yeah,
but it's like it just takes full advantage of the visual effects.
It's very similar with the relationships of like
it's about a father and his child. You know,
it's really good.
Yeah, so I'd recommend that. It's you're not going to get Interstellar, but you're going to get a very like methodical, interesting film. And yeah, I are just glued to when I saw it in theaters. It was like one of the movies I really wanted to see in 2019. So
that was my first IMAX movie.
Really, you saw it in IMAX?
Yeah, and the one in Lafayette. Yeah,
nice.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
I was left in awe. It was just, I think I've told Matthew this a couple times. Yeah, it's beautiful. I was just like, wow, this and they mentioned Purdue a couple times too in the movie. We're like,
yeah,
whoa.
oh yeah, in the theater when that happened.
Yeah,
you're like, holy shit, it's Purdue.
Spoiler the fuck
up. All right, I guess I don't have a lot to say about Interstellar. I think it's a solid movie. You know, it's on the lower end of my Nolan ranking, but it's still a good movie. I just don't love it like as much as most people.
It's fair.
My feelings about the movie are about the same as Sophie's. It's my second favorite Christopher Nolan film. And I feel so bad though because I had not watched it until December of last year, so I watched it fairly recently for the first time. And I after watching it, I felt so bad that I had not seen it before. Because I remember it was like 12 when I came out. And all I remember is like my 80-something-year-old grandpa, my great-grandpa, went to go watch it. And then he got done watching and he was like, well, that movie was kind of crazy, and that's all he said. And I could just imagine my 80-something-year-old grandpa just watching the movie in theaters. Yeah, I just love the movie so much. The only problem I have with it, I think, is just the runtime. I think that's about it. It does get a little long at some points.
That's true. It's fair.
But
I'm
other than
desensitized to it at
that,
this point.
it's yeah. Other than that, it's just a great ride through the universe. It's just I love everything about it. I think one of the things I love most is the practical effects used, especially like just like small things like the miniatures of like the spaceships that they use, because it just makes everything look more realistic when they're showing like outside the spaceship and everything. I just love it so much. Just the attention to detail that it uses. There's just so much emotion to the film. I did tear up a couple times when watching it. I love all the cast in it. Yeah, and I think the story is just all the characters really just add to it. Definitely Matthew McConaughey really shines. And he just brings so much emotion to the role. Especially near the end when he's like looking back. Especially when he went through like the black hole. It's just really really great. I have no problem with like the ending or anything. Or just like with the movie in general. I sometimes I feel like this movie also gets unnecessary hate for some reason. I don't understand why it gets the hate it does, but yeah, just a really great film. I think Sophie just touched on basically everything that how I feel about the film. So
Jacob, we're
Yeah.
in sync today, man.
I know.
Let's go. We
just-
need to talk more about movies, dude. Like I forget,
Yeah.
like, well, we have like similar taste, dude.
Yeah. Film bro and film sister.
gal, let's
unite.
go.
Yeah, film gal. But yeah, that's all I had to say about the film.
Yeah,
All right,
this
so
is definitely one of, I think, and he's not relatively known for this, but Nolan has a tendency of writing very, very weak female characters, and I'd say this one's probably at the top of like female characters are pretty good in this movie. They're not terrible, like some are in other movies, but I'm glad
I
that
really like Jessica Chastain's character.
yeah,
in this.
she's fantastic in this. I love her. I wish I saw more of her. I said that already, but where are we putting this in our rank?
I have
I
this
put it
on
right
list.
behind. Yeah, I put it right behind Inception for me.
Me too, right behind Inception on S tier.
I would say behind Dark Knight, but I'm fine with that.
I-
I've kind of changed.
If you're
my-
behind
I don't know.
Dark Knight, okay.
I
Sarah?
agree with after Inception because I would in my ranking I have
Okay.
behind the Dark Knight, but I also had the Dark Knight and Interstellar in front of Inception. So honestly, as long as it's in the
I mean,
top 3 of the S
Because
tier, I
I
don't
would
care.
put it behind the Prestige.
Then I'll say
I have it
after
in B tier.
Inception,
I have it in B tier, so it's gonna be at the bottom of S.
Hmm.
Or not bottom of S. In
No,
B.
Sarah,
so
Sarah,
No,
Sarah meant to
what?
say
Wait.
no. Sarah meant to say she put it on the like.
I would
Behind
put it
Inception,
high out.
so
And
that's where we'd put it. 'Cause
and,
that's
hey,
3 against
also-
1 against 1.
if my input on The Dark Knight Rises didn't bring it up to at least bottom of A tier, years can't drag this all the way to bottom of S tier.
No, I'm
You're
not
one
saying I
person.
would put it bottom of S, and because if you have it below the Dark Knight, would you want to put it there?
I-
No, she
I
is
don't
at
know.
she is at above, right?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say put it above just because I don't know. I like The Dark Knight more, but with how the current ranking is, I feel better saying that
Okay.
where it's at right now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Not that I would put at the bottom of S. I was saying, do you want to put below the Dark Knight?
Okay,
Okay.
What we have right now is my exact ranking for Nolan
that's
films.
hilarious.
Mine is almost the exact, except for I switched Memento.
There's a couple
and Prestige.
flips for me.
This is
There's
the
one
exact-
obvious one not in the right spot for
I know.
me.
This is my exact ranking, and it's very scary. But we'll see where we get with Dunkirk and Tenet. So
Yeah, my ranking is
Matthew, I think I'm next, but can I forfeit Dunkirk and get Tenet?
Okay, I will start with Dunkirk then.
All right.
Because I think Dunkirk is fine. I'm not a big war movie person. I didn't watch this in theaters. I watched this on my laptop. So, I didn't really care much for it. But I think it's a good movie. It's very, very well crafted and all that. But war movies aren't really my thing, so I think it's on the lower end of Nolan for me. But all right, Jacob.
Oh yeah, I did not see this movie in theaters either. I saw it in my history class, my US history class in high school. Um and I don't remember too much about it. So I don't have much to say about the film. I do definitely need to rewatch it. I will say though, when I watched it, I really enjoyed the practical effects used. Especially with like the airplanes and the just practical effects were really good. I remember when watching it. Really good cinematography overall. I think it's one of his best filmed um movies. Definitely uh takes the usage of like the IMAX cameras really well. Um I think some things that don't work for me though, I think sometimes with like the plot lines, the timing between them, it was kind of confusing. I don't know if other people had this problem, but like just like sometimes with like the plot lines, I got confused about when the timing actually occurred with them. But yeah, besides that, I think it just did a really good job showing like the reality that the soldiers faced, and it's sort of kind of like, I don't want to say like the opposite of Saving Private Ryan, but it's sort of like it kind of just um shows that not all the soldiers, they're mainly just, a lot of them are literally just like some kids that were just really scared for their lives, and I think Christopher Nolan does a really good job of just showing like how fearful they were, and I think overall it's just a really tension heavy film that that really just put me on the edge of my seat when I remember watching it. So yeah, so that's basically all I had to say. Really good film. It's sort of like in the bottom half of Nolan for me, but overall I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, once again, Jacob captures everything I was feeling about this movie pretty much, but I had some more to add. Um, I watched this in theaters in Chicago, 2017, and man, it was really good in theaters. It's a huge, epic movie, a lot of tense parts. I'm not the biggest war person, so this like while it was great visually and technically, and I just wouldn't see myself. I haven't rewatched it since I watched it in theaters. Um, I don't really want to. I don't have like a strong urge to rewatch Dunkirk. I mean, I will eventually, but it's not one that I'm just like dying to rewatch as much as I am like Tenet or The Prestige or Memento or any of his other films, which is why Dunkirk is my least favorite Nolan movie. It's still a great film. It's just not one that really resonated with me or has like had a very big impact on me. I mean, it's a good war flick, impressive visuals and filming techniques and whatnot. And the score is fine. It's probably one of my least favorite Zimmer scores. I mean, because most of it's just like really tense and it's not something I'll listen to all the time. There's a couple songs in there that are like nice, like probably towards the end of the movie and the credits and whatever, but it's just not one I'll go out of my way to listen to. It comes up in the shuffle, sure. It works well for the film. It's like one of those scores. It works really well for the films. It enhances like every feeling and motivation and tense moment. But I don't know. I definitely need to revisit it, but it's a great movie, just not one that I absolutely love, which makes it my least favorite Nolan film. It's all you, Kenny.
1 second. My charger just like something's happening with it. I think it like totally is not working. There we go. Okay. So I saw this in theaters. I saw it, I think, the weekend it came out. This is I was very excited to see this. With like they had a whole marketing campaign, like 4,000 men or something. It was like a hashtag or 400,000. And I really enjoyed it. I think it really benefits from that theater experience. I feel like out of the other ones, though, it kind of you can't really take away as much. But like I really don't like see any flaws with this movie. It takes full use of his nonlinear narrative and it just definitely it's an interesting concept of showing Dunkirk instead of like if you compare it to like D-Day. Like this is a loss, you know, like it's a loss of the British Army. Like they're retreating. This is them falling back. Instead of like they win a small battle, but they've lost the whole thing. And you can kind of see the effect on the morale, and then like with Cillian Murphy's character and how his attitude affects everybody, and leads to certain things. But I haven't seen this since, but I still I knew I liked it. The plane scenes are incredible. The last shot of the burning plane with Tom Hardy, great stuff. And then with the Nazis never really their face being shown, I thought that was interesting. They were just always like it, because it was just there was a lot of uncertainty in that movie. That's one of the big things. Like you just don't know when they'll appear, when they'll attack, and when they'll be safe, when everyone will be safe. And there's a lot of mistrust with like that French guy, right? Isn't there a French guy? And they don't know what to. They just get super what's the word? Like delusional. It's just everyone is getting delusional. So I enjoyed it. I like the score. It's one of the out of all the Christopher Nolan movies, I think I listened to this more than Inception, because I like the tenseness of it, and with the clock and all that. And then there's Variation 14, which I think wasn't Hans but Benjamin, Wallfish.
Benjamin Wallfish, yeah, he's good.
Yeah. And that's it's just a nice tone. It's like this sense of hope. And it's just a nice thing to listen to. And then I also just like listening to the very tense stuff. It's like Supermarine, that's a good one. The Oil is like a slower version of it, and then it like gradually keeps building up. And then you have Home, which starts as tense and then leads into like the hopeful tone at the end. And the end credits are great. I don't know. I enjoy this movie, and I would put this on the upper half, but like right in the middle. I'd say in the middle, but on the upper half of Nolan's work. So
fair.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what's been said. Sophie almost word for word stole my thought of the score, because I'm pretty sure we had that conversation the other day after. Yeah. But like how it works really, really well in the setting of the movie, but like it's just not something there's a few songs here and there like that I would like probably listen to on my own time, but I don't think I'm gonna like most of the score, probably not, just because it's so tense. But this is
anxiety inducing.
I have enough anxiety. We don't need to add to listening to anxiety.
We don't need to give Sarah more anxiety.
It's good stuff.
But the thing that makes me so mad about this movie is I literally worked at a movie theater when this movie came out. I still didn't see it in theaters. I watched it for the first time my junior year of college. I don't remember what point in the year. It was on my laptop at like 4 a.m.
Oh my God, Sarah.
I'm just gonna.
Oh well, that's okay.
But like, I think the thing that honestly part of the reason I like it so much is the fact that I started the movie at 4 a.m. and didn't have any chance of falling asleep because it's so tense. Like I think like that's like kind of like what it's going for. It's just like you can't look away because it gets tense, but you also just I don't really know. I really enjoyed in the moment how tense it is, and like how like it makes you feel like the anxiety of it all. But also because of that, this movie isn't super rewatchable for me. Like granted, there's a lot of Nolan movies I've only seen two times, but I don't feel like I'm in any rush to rewatch this one again soon, just because of how tense it is. and also like what Jacob and Sophie said, I also am not much of a war movie person. Outside of this one and 1917, I can't really think of any that I would
love
go on.
1917.
Oh, me too.
This is
But
fantastic.
I can't really think of like any others I would like actively seek out to rewatch like multiple times or like stuff like that, just because war movies are war movies. I mean, there's some that
But
are
you
good.
could watch Saving Private Ryan a lot. I feel like
I
it's
haven't
you need
seen
to watch.
I haven't
That's a
seen
good
Saving
one.
Private Ryan.
Oh
That one
my
is-
god!
Sarah.
I've said this. I didn't really start actually watching movies until like pretty solid amount of the way into the pandemic. So I'm
And
working
even then,
on it.
2020, you like struggled,
Right.
man. You kept rewatching How I Met Your Mother, and I was pissed.
I have reasons that I will not talk about here, but
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You're doing it now, and that's what makes me happy.
Yeah.
So
one more thing about Dunkirk, Harry Styles. I love it.
I knew it. I
Beautiful
love it.
beautiful.
I
man.
love Harry Styles, and like this is like his first like ever like any role, like anything. And I thought he did a great job. Because even at the time, like I wasn't a huge fan of him until later, like last year. So like wasn't even a big fan of him when I watched the movie the first time, but like I thought he did a great job. I'm excited to see what he does, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but the
Don't worry,
one that
darling.
yes, I'm excited to see that because of Harry Styles.
And
Well,
future
and
Florence too.
new projects.
Well, yeah, but I know, but like Harry Styles, I think he actually has some talent as an actor and isn't just like there to add some sort of draw to some people, because I don't think that's how Nolan works. He doesn't like just throw random people in to just get a bigger audience. But yeah, I think that's all.
I want to show off another blue or 4K. This is a 4K.
Nice.
Oh my
Actually.
god.
I got this. And I don't know. You can see the ripples.
Yeah.
It came kind of broken. Very sad stuff. Like there's a hole right there. But I mean, the disc is intact. But I bought this, and then I think the Fantastic Mr. Fox as well.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm showing that off. And then also, I think Dunkirk is one of Quentin Tarantino's favorites. So
Interesting.
yeah, he really liked it. It just that I think it was the intensity and also the sound. So
Shout out to Death Proof.
All right.
Oh my god.
Does anyone else have anything to say before we move on to ranking it?
One more very quick thing. I love how Cillian Murphy is literally just credited as Shivering Soldier. It's great.
Yeah, it's neat.
All right. I will put this in B.
Yeah, I think I have this between The Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins. So
I have it higher than Rises.
I have it at like a C tier. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
I personally would put it bottom of A just because I have it behind Memento in my ranking.
Yeah, I put it bottom A too. Yeah.
So okay, above Insomnia.
Yes, above Insomnia for sure.
yeah,
I say above Batman Begins.
I would say
That's
also.
Yeah.
We'll leave it
Yeah.
there. That's okay.
No, Sophie, you're the
so
only one
close
that
to
had
mine.
it
Would you-
not in.
I had it at C, you guys. Come on.
But they're-
oh my gosh, this is
I
basically my ranking right now.
This is a democracy.
Okay.
yeah.
Are we
I think
going
that's
with
fair.
the last one?
Okay.
I got Tenet. Tenet rocks.
Yes.
That's all I have to say. I got the 4K right here. I got this, I think, when did I get this? Christmas 2020. But yeah, I love Tenet. I saw it twice. First time, I missed a bit because I missed the exposition scene at Freeport because I had to go to the bathroom. I had too much popcorn or whatever. But like the one thing that I think about when I think about Tenet is the music. The music is insane. I love loud music like this. And Ludwig Göransson. I don't think I pronounced his name correctly.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
But then again, I'm giving you validation. I'm the worst person to go for consultation. I'm pronouncing people's names.
I'll have to call him up. I'll have to call him up right now and see what he thinks. But I love this movie. I think it's great. It knows what it is. It's very it's I don't want to say goofy because it takes itself seriously, but like it just kind of goes all out. It doesn't really, stop. And I feel like you could say this is Chris Nolan being full Chris Nolan. But yeah, again, I kind of forgot to talk about the music, but the music, it's super loud, it's super tense. It of course dwarfs the dialogue at some points, but it's just so good. And I still listen to it. I listen to Meeting Neil, the what plays in the beginning and what plays at the end. It's like the end is like a 14-minute song called Posterity, and I listen to it all the time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, I seeing this twice was awesome in the theater. It's probably one of my favorite theater experiences. And it's like, it's very confusing, like what's going on. But like after a certain point, I feel like you can like totally get behind everything and like understand what's happening. I think it's like when the third act is about to happen. But great visuals, great use of CGI and practical effects, and it just rocks. It's great.
I really wanted to rewatch Tenet.
Sarah?
Yeah, I really wanted to rewatch Tenet before this episode, just because I've only seen it the one time, and like I mentioned earlier, I watched it on an airplane. So like there's a lot, because like I couldn't exactly have captions on or be taking up like half the screen. So there's just like a lot that I feel like I missed. That being said, I really enjoyed it still. I think this movie is also kind of up there with Memento. It's kind of confusing, but I personally don't think it's as confusing as Memento, because when I was watching it, like kind of like the point when they start doing like the whole like going backwards thing or whatever, like that's when it started clicking. Like I just had like this sort of like aha moment, like everything made sense in it, where like Memento, I didn't get that until way after I finished the movie. But yeah, I just really like, I don't really have much more to say other than I really like Robert Pattinson in it. This was the movie I think that started my Robert Pattinson obsession. But
You gotta watch
resurgence.
Good Time. You gotta watch Good Time if you love.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
It's a good time.
It is a good time.
It is a good time.
Yeah, and then is it John David Washington is the is the lead?
Yes.
Yeah, I liked him in this as well. I also didn't realize the first time that I watched it that Kenneth Branagh was in this. I didn't realize that until I was looking through the cast the other day. And I felt really stupid, but I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I need to give it a rewatch. So I'll leave it at that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this movie is great. I think this is one of my favorite Nolan movies. I just first time I watched it, I was definitely confused, but then I watched it again, and like I was able to like piece together like the timelines a lot better, and like with the whole like Neil being at the opera at the beginning of the movie and all that, like I was able to click with it a little bit easier, and I think it's just like Nolan at his truest form, and I just really love that. Like he just goes all out, and just like watching this in theaters since COVID for like the first time, I think was also just amazing to like have that experience. And I also really like Elizabeth Debicki. I feel like she's like really the heart of the movie, that like, and like she's she's really good in that role. And I feel like you guys have already said everything else I would want to say about it. So, Jacob.
Okay, I have a strange memories of this movie, because this was like one of the first movies I saw once they started kind of like releasing movies like during the pandemic or whatever. So this was like the first movie that I went back to theaters for, like since they like started closing down. But the problem with like my showing or whatever, I heard like a lot of people, like a lot of theaters have this problem, but like it was just like so loud. Like for some reason my showing, I was deaf by the end of it. Yeah, I think that's the major problem I have with it. Is sort of like the audio mixing. Like when I watched in theaters, there's like a lot of times when I couldn't like hear what the dialogue was saying, and I think Christopher Nolan said that he kind of wanted to be like that sometimes. But I don't know. I think that's what it sort of like created a lot of the confusion for me when I first watched it. Was I kind of missed some exposition parts because I just couldn't hear what was going on. Um. But yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed the film. Um, I keep on saying like I love the set pieces like all of his movies, but I just realized he's just so good at like just setting up really awesome set pieces, like with like the giant airplane that just crashes through the airport, or just like the big final battle. It's just he does such a good job just setting up good giant set pieces like that. Um, I think yeah, all the characters do really good. I really love John David Washington. I think he was a really good uh like good cast for that. Yeah, I think it just made me appreciate him more as an actor. Uh and I really like Robert Pattinson as well. I thought it was really good. Um it made me want to watch Good Time, which Sarah definitely should watch Good Time. Really good film.
Good time.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, the confusion is just mainly just like the problem I had with the film. But I think once you get past that, if you just like there again, there's some good like analysis videos like on YouTube that sort of just break down what's happening. Like I remember when I was first watching the movie, by the time we got to like the final like battle where half the people are going forward and the other people reverse, had no idea what was going on. I was so confused, and I was like, I have no idea how this works, but okay. But yeah, I think I've rewatched it a couple times now, since it came out, because I shout out to Family Video closing down. I mean, not shout out, but I was able to pick it up DVD for 50 cents. So thank
Respect
you.
for closing down.
Thank you, Family Video, for shutting down so I could get Tenet for 50 cents. But yeah, I've rewatched it a couple times since it came out in theaters, and yeah, I think it just helps with the confusion. But yeah, overall, I really enjoy the film. Really good action, and really good concepts that I think are just really interesting, and it reminds me of like the concepts that he just brought to Inception, and just sort of like how he visualizes stuff and then brings it to picture. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, everyone talking about this movie just made my rating for Tenet. I moved it up in my rankings. I was like, shit, I forgot this is a really fun movie. I had it like on my like right above Dunkirk. I had my number 9 spot, and I'm like, no, this doesn't deserve my 9 spot. This is better, and I think the reason why is because I haven't seen it since theaters. I too, Jacob, you stole my words again. Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
God damn it, Jacob. God damn it.
I did see it in the theater. I wore 2 masks because it was in September, and it was my first movie mid-COVID, I guess. It wasn't post-COVID because I think we're still in COVID, but who knows anymore. I watched it and I had so much fun. I was like, I'm home. This is home, and I'm watching a Nolan film in theaters. Like I had to go. I didn't go back to the theater until March of the following year. But I had no interest in that. I went to see Tenet. I had a blast with it. I did initially. It's interesting. Initially, I said to myself, man, the score, I'm disappointed. It was okay. But I guess I wasn't really paying attention because I was just like trying to think about what the hell was going on in the movie. And it was just like, oh, what did the score sound like again? It wasn't memorable. I can't hum it. Oh no, Ludwig, you failed me. You're not Zimmer. But then I started listening to the score more and more, and I'm like, shit, no, this is actually pretty. It slaps. It slaps. It's good. And I listen to Foils all the time. It's a great song, short. Performances are great. I loved Robert Pattinson in this. I'm really excited to see him in the Batman. See what he brings to that character. And Sarah, shut up.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just excited about the movie.
Be quiet. Yes, Tenet. it's a lot of fun. I love the technicality in that movie of the whole reverse and going forward in time. It's so cool. I mean, I could watch that car chase scene that they go like backwards and forwards, and it's just like what is Christopher Nolan on right now? It is a little convoluted, and I think it gets too intertwined in like the concepts of the film, which kind of just doesn't leave it like grounded like some of his other movies are. But I guess that's besides the point. It's not what it's going for. There's just a lot of there's a lot going on in this movie, and it's a little tough to keep up on the first watch. But I have yet to rewatch it, so probably will benefit from a rewatch. It'll help me understand a lot of the motives and concepts more and whatnot. But I had a lot of fun with it in theaters. It's a good one. Solid Nolan film. It's not my favorite, but I think once I rewatch it more, it's just gonna be a classic, I guess. I don't know. But I'm glad I watched it in theaters because it's an experience. I remember yeah, I forgot to say this. But there's this lady that was sitting not next to me because we had like spacing issues because of COVID, but her phone like rang 5 times in the theater, but you couldn't even hear it because it was so fucking loud during the movie. So she was saved so many times. I saw it like light up, and you could hear like I was close enough that I could hear it. And she answered it all 5 times.
Oh my god!
But you couldn't, and it was so loud in the theater. You couldn't even. I don't even know who called this old lady, but like whatever. I thought that was really funny because, I mean, the movie was just so loud. You could like it didn't really affect everyone else, just people sitting by her. That was funny. But I'm excited to see Ludwig and Nolan collaborate again, but I'd also like to see more movies with Zimmer and Nolan again. I miss that collaboration, but I think Nolan passed this. Nolan passed this to do Dune, yeah.
Or Zimmer.
Oh, Zimmer. I'm sorry. Yeah, Zimmer passed this to do Dune. That's my fault. Nolan did not pass anything. This is his film. But yeah, good stuff.
But what was I gonna? I thought I was gonna say something. No, yeah, I feel like with Oppenheimer, the score is gonna be more. It's kind of like I'm gonna bring up Mank. It's like what Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did for Mank. Like they did more, electronic, very interesting, darker scores for like David Fincher's films, and also for like that Watchmen TV show. But I think for Soul was a bit lighter and more ethereal.
Yeah,
there we go.
Ethereal.
And for Mank, they wanted to do like period piece instruments. So I feel like that's what Ludwig's gonna do. Because like he's gonna do like make it sound like it's in the 40s. I don't think it's gonna sound electronic or like loud or anything for Oppenheimer. I mean, it probably will be loud, but like he's done orchestral stuff. Like he did orchestral stuff for Creed and for The Mandalorians, and those were both good. So
I think my favorite of his is Black Panther. He did an amazing job for Black Panther. That's definitely one of the best MCU scores, I would say. But we're not going to talk about that. That's for another time. I could go on and on about that, but
yeah, we have another episode planned for that. So
all right. Oh wait, was I the last one for Tenet?
Yes. Because I started.
Honestly, I don't care where we put this, so it's all you guys.
Below Memento for me.
A tier below.
Yeah, I'd say bottom of A.
I have it above Memento.
I'm fine with that too.
I personally have it in B tier, but I also haven't rewatched it, and I know it's going to go up as soon as I rewatch it. So I also don't care that much.
Yeah, I have it at B tier, like above. No, I have it above Dunkirk, below Dark Knight Rises. That's where I would put it, but.
So we got 2 Bs.
So we have 3 A's, so we'll put it in A because.
I'm totally okay. Because that's probably where it's going to end up once I rewatch it.
Do you want to put it above Memento since Kenny and I are both?
No, that's only 2.
No, I think that's good. I think that's good.
No, I think Memento is better.
As it is.
But that's matter. But
wow, the ranking on screen is literally my exact ranking, except I have Prestige and Memento flipped.
Yeah, everything's the same except for my Tenet and Dunkirk placement. But yeah, pretty cool.
I have
Okay.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Well,
Mine's
do
pretty
we wanna go
different.
through our own rankings?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's go through this quickly. I
I
have
think
to
we
get
have enough
going.
time. We
All
have time.
Yeah. Let's go
Yeah.
quick. Let's go quick.
right, Matthew, you go.
Alright. I'll go first. Obviously, some of these I need to rewatch. So, but currently, at the bottom is Following, then The Dark Knight Rises, then Dunkirk, then Batman Begins, then Interstellar, then Insomnia, then Memento, The Dark Knight, Tenet, The Prestige, and Inception at number 1.
Interesting.
Jacob, or whoever.
Oh wait, yeah, mine is Following, Insomnia, Batman Begins, Dunkirk, Dark Knight Rises, Tenet, The Prestige, Memento, Dark Knight, Interstellar, and then Inception.
We have the same top 3, Jacob. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my number 10 is
Nice.
Dunkirk. Yeah. My number 10 is Dunkirk, 9 Insomnia, Batman Begins at 8, Tenet at 7, Dark Knight Rises at 6, Memento at 5, Prestige at 4, Dark Knight at 3, Interstellar at 2, and Inception at 1.
So this, I'm just looking at the one I'm in Letterboxd. I probably need to update this, but this is what I had: Insomnia, then Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, The Prestige, Tenet, Memento, Dunkirk, Inception, The Dark Knight, and Interstellar.
And I
That
have
was interesting. Okay.
I have at 11. I have Insomnia, then Following, then Batman Begins, and Tenet, Dunkirk, Memento, Inception, The Prestige, Interstellar, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises at number 1.
You're adorable.
And for our audio listeners, our collaborative list is in C tier. We have Following. At the bottom of D, we have Insomnia, then Batman Begins, then Dunkirk, and then The Dark Knight Rises. At the top of B tier. At the bottom of A, we have Tenet, and then at the top is Memento, and at the bottom of S, we have The Prestige. Then above that is The Dark Knight, then Interstellar, and at the top of S tier, we have Inception.
Let's go.
Wow. Wow.
Wah, wah.
All right. So yeah, that's all.
Was
Do you guys have anything else you want to say about Christopher Nolan?
He's awesome, and I can't wait for
Wah, wah.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Watch all
Chris-
those movies, guys.
people.
All of them.
David
He's filming
Dastmalchian
it.
just got cast in it, so
He's
looking
filming
forward
at
to
so many
UCLA
people.
right now, and
Yeah.
people are looking for Florence Pugh all over campus.
I don't blame them.
Me neither.
Oh yeah, she's in that movie. There's so many people.
Yes,
in
she
that.
is.
I'm excited
Cast
for
is stacked.
the
Absolutely
ones I'm
stacked.
excited for are Benny Safdie, Matthew Modine,
Florence
else?
Pugh.
Florence
I'm
Pugh,
excited for Florence
obviously.
Pugh.
Me too.
I've only seen her in Black Widow and Hawkeye, I think.
Oh really?
Haven't seen
Oh my God.
Midsommar?
You gotta watch Midsommar.
No.
You gotta watch
Yeah.
Fighting with My Family. You gotta
Fighting
watch
with my
Little Women.
Kenny,
family.
You
I
gotta watch
tried to
that
get you to
movie.
watch the
That's-
director's cut of Midsummer, and you
Watch
said
Hey, I
Jacob,
watched the
please
Me
don't
Canyon
give me that
videos,
pursuit.
Jacob. We're even.
Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for that too.
Jesus
Matthew
Christ, I forgot
Modine's
about
gonna
that.
be in it. I'm excited for Jack Quaid. I'm excited
Jack
for.
Quaid.
It's gonna be a good.
The guy
movie.
who played Han Solo in Solo, he's going to
Oh,
be in
Alden
it.
Ehrenreich. Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
he's fine.
He's great. He's great.
He's
He's,
fine.
he's great in Hail Caesar.
I
so-
agree.
Yeah, he's one of the best parts in Hail Caesar. I thought that was
Yeah,
a
he's
fun
great in Hail
movie.
Caesar. So I'm excited to see him.
I need to
in a
watch
I
better
fell
movie,
asleep
hopefully.
during Hail Caesar. I remember George Clooney being a lunatic in that one. Or
David
just like a naive
Krumholtz.
prick.
We got David
David
Krumholtz.
All right, guys. Well,
Bernard
no, yeah,
Elf is back.
that was a good
Right.
ranking. I appreciated
Yeah.
hearing everyone's thoughts on Nolan's films. That was awesome. I had fun.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm glad
Yeah,
we did
definitely.
this.
All right.
Sarah didn't get
And-
too triggered. I'm impressed.
No, yeah. Besides stuff that like I was
I'm
just
working
joking
on it.
about to trigger her, but like
Yeah,
Very
that's the
good.
stuff
You,
that triggers me more.
I'm so proud of you, Sarah.
I'm working on it, I promise.
but for next week on Wednesday, because that's the only time we could get everyone together. So unfortunately it's during Real Genius. But Oscars. 7
Hell yeah.
EST.
I'll
So
be there.
Maybe after
I'll
Real
be
Genius,
there.
you guys can tune in.
Yeah,
I
And,
won't be watching it
I
live,
still gotta watch more movies.
but I'll watch it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You could watch it for the first 30 minutes.
No, I
Yeah,
have to go to Disney Club because I'm the president.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
I can't keep ditching.
You guys gotta watch it after. You gotta watch it after.
Let's
Guilty
hope no
Please.
one from
Put on
Disney
the-
Club is
put on
listening
the
to this.
objective.
So
You
is
know I
is
go
that
to
is that
another club.
is the Oscar show just gonna be like your guys' like your picks for like the winners and
Our
stuff?
own.
No.
It's our own ballots.
our own ballot.
Personal ballots.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
okay.
Our
we will
nominate, like-
collaborate on each
It's-
category. We also have extra categories. We'll collaborate on the categories to fill a 5, and then we'll send out a Google form for everyone else.
It's not just based
okay.
off the Oscars ballot. It's just based. It's our own picks for the categories.
For
So
any
you
movie
can have like
from last
Nicolas
year.
Cage as in Pig as a
Or
thing.
Okay,
right?
as he
Denis
deserved,
for
yeah.
I have
Best
him on
Director.
mine.
Or French Dispatch because French Dispatch was snubbed. So
Exactly, Kenny. Kenny gets it.
Yeah.
Denis was snubbed.
That's
yeah,
facts.
that's interesting. Yeah. Well, I think yeah. We'll get into that in the Oscars.
Yeah,
we don't
I'm
want to
excited to watch
reveal
that.
everything. Yeah.
And finally, we
Okay.
also have merch. So yeah, if any,
Yeah.
we'll
I
put
thought
this
you
on
said
screen.
Murph.
I did too.
Murph.
We have Murph available.
We got Murph. So yeah, great. That's all. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for hosting, Matthew. You're an
Yeah.
incredible host.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for dealing with us, even though we didn't really have anything to say about
Thank you
Christopher
for-
Nolan movies.
Thank you
This
for
was fun,
listening.
guys.
Thank you for listening to me when I kept asking like every day for you to move Nolan up, so that way we didn't have to wait for Oppenheimer to come out next year.
Yes. Yeah. No problem. Yeah. This was
Oh,
fun.
is that why we're doing it now? Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
send me.
Yeah,
Well,
it
you know,
was all
I.
me.
Oh,
Yeah. It was all Sarah. No, also just because it's February, there's not very many
There's
releases coming
nothing.
out. Yeah. And we have
That
Batman
one.
coming up
Except
soon. We're gonna do that here,
Did you
or
do a video
we'll do
game
that
movie
ranking.
thing, or no?
What is it?
Did you do a video game movie like a
Yes, video game movies is also coming up later when Sonic 2
Oh,
comes
okay.
out. Everyone's looking forward to Sonic the Hedgehog 2, right?
I need to see the first
Yeah,
one still.
Idris
I
Elba.
haven't seen the
He's
first
Knuckles.
one
Idris
either.
Elba in his very sexy voice for Knuckles. Excited for that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all for being here. I'm gonna end the show.
Okay,
That's
bye.
a great way to end it.
Wah, wah.